Chapter 33:15. Damn it! Get out of here! The illusory fiend ancient tree roared, causing the void to rumble. He had lived for countless years, and his strength was monstrous. Even a peerless monarch could only behave obediently in front of him, not daring to act rashly. Even if a peerless imperial emperor entered the illusory fiend ancient tree's body, it would have a way to kill it. However, it had no way of dealing with Changsheng. Changsheng had the innate chaotic body and was invulnerable to all techniques. All methods were useless against him. The illusory fiend ancient tree could only watch as Changsheng devoured the demonic Dao origin energy and headed for the blood demon Dao fruit. Rumble. It was as if some seal had been opened in Changsheng's body, emitting a terrifying primordial force. The power of her heaven-devouring secret technique increased by 100 times in an instant. The vast and pure demonic Dao origin power pushed Changsheng's cultivation base to rise rapidly. First Heaven Imperial Emperor Realm. Second Heaven Imperial Emperor Realm. If others saw this, their eyes would probably pop out of their sockets. Since when was breaking through to the Imperial Emperor Realm so easy? Condensing a grand Dao quintessence at the Imperial Monarch Realm was a grinding process, and the speed of cultivation was extremely slow. Many experts would need hundreds of thousands or even millions of years to cultivate from the first level of the Imperial Monarch Realm to the 9th level of the Imperial Monarch Realm. Even for those with extraordinary talent, they would still need thousands of years of polishing. However, Changsheng's cultivation breakthrough was as simple as eating and drinking. Boom! Even though Changsheng was in the illusory fiend ancient tree's body, his speed was as fast as lightning. Before the illusion fiend ancient tree could react, he had already arrived in front of a blood demon great Dao fruit. Then, he reached out and grabbed the blood demon great Dao fruit in his palm. The blood demon fruit of the way was crimson like blood. It looked translucent, and there seemed to be countless blood vessels within it. They were like the meridians of a human body, densely packed and containing a mysterious aura of the origin of the great Dao. Longevity grabbed the blood demon Dao fruit and tossed it into his mouth, devouring and refining it. The vast origin of blood wreaked havoc, but it couldn't do any harm to longevity. Instead, the origin of the great path within the blood demon Dao fruit was rapidly absorbed and refined by longevity. In the blink of an eye, Changsheng's cultivation had broken through to the 4th level of the Imperial Monarch Realm. Rumble. Just as Changsheng's cultivation broke through to the 4th heaven of the Immortal Emperor Realm, the great desolation force that gushed out from her body became more and more terrifying. A resplendent light lit up, and it looked like a heart that was trembling slightly. The heart exuded a mysterious energy fluctuation that spread out in all directions. The illusion demon ancient tree, which was originally roaring and trembling, could not help but tremble, revealing an extremely frightened expression. This is the great desolate's heart. How is that possible? The illusion fiend ancient tree was filled with shock and disbelief. He had never thought that Changsheng's body would actually contain the primeval chaos heart. The great wilderness's heart was naturally extracted from Ling Zhao's body and fused into Changsheng's body. With the innate chaotic body, Changsheng could easily refine the great wilderness's heart. Moreover, after the complete fusion of the Eldritch continent, the great wilderness's heart began to erupt with unimaginable power. With the great wilderness's heart, Changsheng could mobilize the vast origin energy of the Eldritch continent, and the speed at which she comprehended the great Tao of heaven and earth had also increased by leaps and bounds. Moreover, the great wilderness's heart seemed to have a certain suppressive effect on the illusion fiend ancient tree, causing its resistance to become extremely weak. Changsheng continued to devour the origin energy of the illusion fiend ancient tree, and instantly discovered the great wilderness's heart. The great wilderness's heart was the illusion fiend ancient tree's life origin, and also the essence of its body. Changsheng was like a bolt of lightning, filled with chaotic mist, and instantly shifted toward the great wilderness's heart. No! The illusion fiend ancient tree was in utter despair. Changsheng had discovered the great wilderness's heart. As long as Changsheng refined the great wilderness's heart, she would be able to obtain all of the illusion fiend ancient tree's power. By then, the illusion fiend ancient tree would definitely die. Although it tried its best to resist and hide the great wilderness's heart, it was completely useless against Changsheng. The illusion fiend ancient tree's defeat was already set in stone. Ka-cha! An unparalleled fist print, shrouded in black demonic light, surged with chaotic mist, and exploded like a terrifying chaotic demonic mountain. The sect-protecting array of the blood prison demon sect shook violently, and a crack appeared. The crack instantly caused Xue Kuang, Xue Ao, and the others' expressions to change drastically. Their eyes were filled with unconcealable fear. Even the sect-protecting array could not stop Darkness Lingxiao. Was the blood prison demon sect really going to be destroyed today? Fight it out with him. Xue Kuang and Xue Ao roared, their eyes filled with madness. In an instant, they burned their flesh and primordial spirits and pounced toward Darkness Lingxiao. Ka-cha! Another unparalleled fist print landed, and the crack became bigger and bigger. In the end, the runes shattered, and black demonic light surged, causing the sect-protecting array to collapse. Darkness Lingxiao was wearing the infinite demonic armor. His aura was monstrous, and his killing intent was turbulent. He looked like an unparalleled demonic god. He walked out of the broken sect-protecting array, and his cold eyes fell on Xue Kuang, Xue Ao, and the others. Boom! With a simple punch, Xue Kuang and Xue Ao spurted blood from their mouths and were sent flying. Although they had burned their flesh and primordial spirits and unleashed the ultimate fighting power of a peerless emperor, they realized in despair that they were like ants in front of Darkness Lingxiao. Their hearts were filled with a deep sense of helplessness. Kill! Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were cold, and his roar was like thunder, resounding through the sky above the blood prison demon sect. He was like a tiger in a flock of sheep, and he charged forward. The infinite demonic armor contained the power of the Great Obliteration and the Great Sinkhole. In addition, Dark Soaring Sky's cultivation base had already reached the unparalleled Emperor realm. No one in the entire blood prison demon sect could withstand a single punch from him. Rumble. Soon, the 9 supreme elders of the blood prison demon sect, including Xue Kuang and Xue Ao, were all killed by Darkness Lingxiao. Their flesh and primordial spirits were devoured by the infinite demonic armor, and they were completely turned into nourishment for the armor. The infinite demon armor was originally pitch black and simple. But at this moment, it was suffused with a blood-red glow. Furthermore, a blood-red cape fluttered behind dark soaring clouds, making him look even more fierce and cold. His baleful aura overflowed to the heavens. A mere illusory demonic ancient tree dares to resist? Die! Darkness Lingxiao's cold eyes instantly fell on the towering illusory demonic ancient tree in the distance. At this moment, the aura of the illusory demonic ancient tree had begun to weaken. However, it was still struggling violently, unwilling to be devoured by the eternal demonic ancient tree. It was because it could not take care of itself that a huge flaw appeared in the blood prison demon sect's protective array, and it was destroyed by Darkness Lingxiao's punch. Darkness Lingxiao threw out a punch, and the chaotic demonic fist was invincible. In an instant, it pierced through layers of the void and directly hit the illusory demonic ancient tree. Crack! The huge illusory demonic ancient tree could not withstand the full force of the infinite demonic armor. Its huge trunk was directly cut in half by Darkness Lingxiao. Ah! The illusory demonic ancient tree let out a scream of shock and anger. Darkness Lingxiao stepped on the void with a cold face. He stretched out his hand and the remaining blood demon Dao fruits on the illusory demonic ancient tree flew into his palm. Swoosh! Darkness Lingxiao did not seem to care about the illusory demonic ancient tree at all. With a slap, all the blood demon Dao fruits were instantly sent into Eternal Demonic Ancient Tree's body. Eternal Demonic Ancient Tree's aura began to rise rapidly again. Thank you, Uncle Darkness. Eternal Demonic Ancient Tree said, his voice filled with excitement. Eternal Demonic Ancient Tree, take it easy. The Emperor Lord of Faith did not let you improve your cultivation so quickly for your own good. Although you have devoured the origin of the illusory demonic ancient tree, your foundation will inevitably be unstable. Therefore, you must not break through to the unparalleled Imperial Emperor realm. At most, you can break through to level 8 Imperial Emperor realm. Darkness Lingxiao said through voice transmission. Uncle Darkness, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. This illusory demonic ancient tree has lived for countless years and has accumulated a vast amount of energy. It should be enough for me to lay a stable foundation. I will not advance rashly. Eternal demonic ancient tree said with a smile. It's good that you know what you're doing. Darkness Lingxiao nodded and did not continue to attack. Instead, he looked at the void in the distance. The current blood prison demon sect had become Azura Hell. The 9 supreme elders had been slaughtered by dark firmament. Now, the blood prison demon sect was like a group of dragons without a leader. Many elders and disciples started to flee in fear, wanting to leave the blood prison demon sect. Cries, roars, and pleas for mercy could be heard everywhere. It was extremely noisy. Darkness Lingxiao did not care about these because he could feel that the people he was waiting for had arrived. Crack. The void shattered as figures with incomparably powerful auras appeared in the void. There were a total of 10 figures. All of them wore black robes and were shrouded in dense demonic light. Their faces could not be seen clearly, only pairs of cold and cruel eyes could be seen. Shockingly, their cultivations had already reached the peerless imperial monarch realm. 10 unparalleled imperial emperors. This was a force that no force in the entire demon world could produce. This was because they were from the Patriarch Society. They were the true rulers of the demon world. Dark Holy Sun, how dare you? You actually destroyed the blood prison demon sect. A black-robed patriarch stared at Darkness Lingxiao with murderous intent in his eyes. His voice was extremely cold, like the messenger of hell. Don't bluff here. Not only did I destroy the blood prison demon sect, but I also killed the blood prison demon emperor. If you're not convinced, why did you hide there for so long and wait for me to kill all of them before coming out? Darkness Lingxiao sneered. His eyes were filled with disdain. These 10 black-robed patriarchs were from the demon world's Patriarch Society. They were all high-ranking members of the Patriarch Society. In fact, when Darkness Lingxiao arrived at the blood prison demon sect, they had been hiding in the dark and did not come out. Dark Holy Sun, don't be presumptuous. You killed the blood prison demon emperor and destroyed the blood prison demon sect. You're a sinner of the demon race. Aren't you afraid of the Patriarch Society's punishment? Another black-robed patriarch said coldly. The Patriarch Society's punishment? With just you. If the Patriarch Society could really punish me, I'm afraid they wouldn't have waited until now. You have to understand whose interests you're representing, and who you're here for. If you really want to punish me, then come at me together now. Let's see if I kill all of you first, or if you kill me first. Darkness Lingxiao said with a faint smile. He was unprecedentedly strong. Even in the face of the demon world's Patriarch Society, he did not show the slightest sign of weakness. He was incomparably strong and overbearing. The 10 black-robed patriarchs trembled, and their faces turned ugly. They knew that Darkness Lingxiao was a lunatic who was very difficult to deal with. He could not be judged by common sense. Dark Holy Sun, what do you want? Finally, the black-robed patriarch stood out and said coldly. Can't you guess what I want? Darkness Lingxiao said with a sneer. Rumble. He stepped towards the 10 black-robed patriarchs, exuding a monstrous evil aura, and pressed towards the 10 patriarchs. I want to become the demon lord, the true master of the demon world. Darkness Lingxiao said slowly. His voice was like a clap of thunder, echoing between heaven and earth. It rang in the ears of every demon race powerhouse, full of unbridled arrogance and unparalleled confidence. Demon Lord? The 10 black-robed patriarchs could not help but narrow their eyes, and their faces instantly turned ugly. Sure enough, as they had expected, the most difficult situation had appeared. The Apex. Chapter 33:16. The surrounding crowd was also stunned by Darkness Soaring Cloud's crazy idea. Everyone knew that the Devil World's senior statesman was the supreme ruler of the Devil World. It represented the will of the emperors. Even the Devil World's 10 sects and monarch clans had to obey the orders of the senior statesman. Now, Dark Ling Xiao was telling the senior statesman that he wanted to become the Devil World's master. Wasn't this a slap to the senior statesman's face? Everyone looked at Dark Ling Xiao as if they were looking at a fool. Although Dark Ling Xiao was strong, he would definitely die if he angered the senior statesman. Dark Holy Sun, you're talking big. You're just a person who hasn't proven your Tao. How dare you dream of becoming the Devil World's master? The leading black-robed senior statesman stared at Dark Ling Xiao and said slowly. The 10 black-robed senior statesmen didn't fly into a rage as everyone expected. On the contrary, they fell silent after hearing Dark Ling Xiao's words. Senior statesman, are you still playing dumb? As far as I know, Bushuan Wushuang was the devil master that you chose in the last era, right? However, he was defeated by the heavenly emperor and didn't prove his Tao. A devil master can only be a person who hasn't proven his Tao. Now, Bushuan Wushuang was killed by me and the infinite demonic armor is in my hands. I've also merged with the origin demonic bone in his body. I'm the only one who's qualified to become the devil master. Dark Ling Xiao sneered with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Boom! He slowly raised his arm and a black glove appeared on his palm. It was simple and mysterious, shining with a metallic luster. At this moment, flames rose from it, looking mysterious and unfathomable. On Dark Ling Xiao's chest, a piece of black bone emerged, spewing out mysterious chaotic demonic light. It seemed to be connected with the surrounding heaven and earth. Rumble. Streaks of black lightning fell from the sky, enveloping Dark Ling Xiao's body, causing him to emit a mysterious aura. He was like a peerless demon god, filled with the aura of the myriad demon origin. Everyone couldn't help but tremble with palpitations. Especially the 10 black-robed senior statesmen, each of their eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. Infinite demonic armor, origin demonic bone, you really killed Bushuan Wushuang? The leading black-robed Grand Elder could no longer remain calm. His pupils abruptly shrunk as his voice was filled with disbelief. Now, am I qualified to become the Devil Master? In the entire Devil Realm, who else is more qualified than me to be the Devil Master? Darkness Ling Xiao said coldly. He stared at the black-robed Grand Elder as he radiated with a violent and cold aura. It was as if as long as the black-robed Grand Elder did not give him the answer he wanted, he would not hesitate to attack and suppress them. The 10 black-robed Grand Elders looked at each other. In the end, they respectfully knelt before Darkness Ling Xiao. Greetings Lord Demon Lord, Your Majesty. The eyes of the 10 black-robed Grand Elders were filled with reverence as they spoke in unison. What? The statesmen, the leaders. They didn't expect the appearance of the senior statesman to not only fail to punish Dark Soaring Sky for his crimes of destroying the Blood Prison Demonic Emperor and the Blood Prison Demonic Sect, but they didn't even mention it. The real master of the Devil Realm. Although many of them did not know what a Devil Master meant, the Senior Statesman Assembly had recognized him as the real master of the Devil Realm. Dark Ling Xiao glanced at the 10 senior statesmen and said, "Get up. From today onwards, the Blood Prison Demon Sect will be completely destroyed. You are in charge of clearing the place. I will enter the Blood Prison Demon Sect to search for treasures. I will ask you later." Yes. The 10 senior statesmen bowed and answered at the same time. Whether they wanted to admit it or not, Dark Ling Xiao had the infinite demonic armor and the origin demonic bone. He was the real master of the Devil Realm. Even the undying Demon Emperor and the original Demon Emperor could not change this. They were filled with worry. It was not a big deal that Dark Ling Xiao had become the Devil Master, but he had killed the Blood Prison Demon Emperor. What would happen if the undying Demon Emperor and the original Demon Emperor woke up? Their hearts trembled at the thought of this. Whoosh! Dark soaring clouds turned into a stream of light and swept into the Blood Prison Demon Sect. The 10 black-robed Grand Elders were in charge of clearing the place, enveloping the entire Blood Prison Demon sect and setting up a huge boundary. The 10 peerless emperors joined forces to ensure that no one in the Blood Prison Demon sect could escape. Except for a few people who immediately fled the sect when they saw that the situation was not right, the rest of the Blood Prison Demon sect were enveloped by the boundary and completely trapped inside. The 10 senior statesmen carried out Dark Ling Zhao's orders and did not allow anyone from the Blood Prison Demon sect to escape. They killed all of them. The surrounding people who were watching the battle were all driven away. They represented various forces and hurriedly returned to their respective sects and families to report everything that had happened in the Blood Prison Demon sect. Moreover, they faintly realized that the senior statesman assembly had recognized Dark Ling Zhao as the Devil Master. They were afraid that something big was going to happen to the Devil Realm. In the Blood Prison Demon sect, the illusory demonic ancient tree was on the verge of death. Dark Ling Zhao had destroyed his body and Changsheng had discovered the location of the illusory demonic heart. However, all his means were useless against Changsheng. The only thing he could do was wait for death. The illusory demonic ancient tree had lived for countless years. Although it was restricted from attaining the Tao and becoming an emperor, its true strength was far beyond that of an emperor lord. Its body had accumulated origin energy that was comparable to that of a great emperor. Now, all of the illusory demonic ancient tree's power was benefiting Changsheng. After refining the illusory demonic heart, Changsheng began to wantonly devour the origin energy of the illusory demonic ancient tree. Her cultivation also began to advance by leaps and bounds. Dark Ling Zhao invaded the treasury of the Blood Prison Demon sect and swept away all the treasures and extreme metals. Ordinary treasures were of no use to him. However, the extreme metals and connate treasures from the chaotic void were extremely precious and could even increase the cultivation of a great emperor. 3 months later, the illusory demonic ancient tree that was billions of miles tall had been completely destroyed. Changsheng's cultivation had also risen to the 8th heaven of the Imperial Lord Realm. In 3 months, she had risen from the 1st heaven of the Imperial Lord Realm to the 8th heaven of the Imperial Lord Realm. This speed of improvement was simply shocking. Even Dark Ling Zhao, Zhao Ritian, the 9th prince and the others could not compare to Changsheng. This was the heaven-defying aspect of the innate chaotic body. However, Dark Ling Zhao discovered that although Changsheng was trying her best to suppress her cultivation, her current cultivation showed signs of taking the final step and breaking through to the 9th heaven of the Imperial Lord Realm. Changsheng, the power in your body is a little mixed now. You must not break through to the 9th heaven of the Imperial Lord Realm now. You must eliminate all the hidden dangers before taking the final step and establish the Supreme Tao Foundation. Dark Ling Zhao frowned and said. He suddenly felt that he had gone too far. He did not know if it was the right thing to let Changsheng devour the illusory demonic ancient tree. Uncle Dark, I also feel that I have devoured too much. This illusory demonic ancient tree has probably gone through a few great calamities. The power in its body is endless and far surpasses that of a great emperor. Changsheng was also a little distressed. Previously, she felt great when her cultivation rose, but now it was giving her a headache. It's okay. I have a way. A light flashed in Dark Ling Zhao's eyes. He walked out of the Blood Prison Demon sect with Changsheng. The 10 black-robed founding elders were still waiting outside. Seeing Changsheng beside Dark Ling Zhao, the 10 black-robed founding elders were curious but did not ask. With their cultivation, they could not see Changsheng's true face. They all thought that she was one of Dark Ling Zhao's subordinates. I want to go to the primitive ancient land. Dark Ling Zhao looked at the 10 black-robed founding elders and said directly. What? The 10 black-robed grand elders shuddered. Their eyes were filled with shock. The primitive ancient land was the place where the primitive demon emperor was sleeping. Only the founding elders knew where it was. Even the primitive demon sect did not know the exact location of the primitive ancient land. It was an absolute secret. But now, Dark Ling Zhao wanted to go to the primitive ancient land. Was he going to attack the primitive demon emperor? Demon Lord, the primitive ancient land is where the primitive demon emperor is sleeping. As the Demon Lord, you cannot attack him. Otherwise, you will lose your position as the Demon Lord and be hunted down by the sleeping Demon Emperor. The leading black-robed founding elder said with a wry smile. Don't worry. I killed the blood prison Demon Emperor because he was too useless. He was severely injured by an emperor and ran back like a dog. He did not even dare to fight back. He is the disgrace and scum of the demon race. As the Demon Lord, how can I attack the primitive Demon Emperor? I just want to go to the primitive ancient land and use the creation lightning trial there to sharpen my cultivation. Dark Ling Xiao said indifferently. Really? The black-robed founding elder asked skeptically. You dare to doubt me? A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's dark eyes, and a trace of ice-cold killing intent emerged. I wouldn't dare, the black-robed founding elder trembled and said hurriedly. Dark Ling Xiao was a madman. He was more like a demon than any of them. He would kill without a word. Compared to Dark Ling Xiao, Bushuan Wushuang was like a docile little lamb. No one knew if it was a good or bad thing for the demon race to let such a person become the Demon Lord. Lead the way. Dark Ling Xiao said coldly. Yes. The black-robed founding elder did not dare to object. He led Dark Ling Xiao to the primitive ancient land. He had thought it through. Dark Ling Xiao would not be stupid enough to attack the primitive Demon Emperor. The primitive Demon Emperor was different from the blood prison Demon Emperor. He was not someone who could be trampled on. It was not about whether Dark Ling Xiao could defeat the primitive Demon Emperor. Even if he won, he would be hunted down endlessly. Perhaps Dark Ling Xiao was really using the creation lightning trial to sharpen his cultivation. After all, the creation lightning trial in the primitive ancient land was very mysterious. Even many of the founding elders in the Founding Elder Society hoped to go there and condense their physical body and Tao spirit. Uncle Dark Ling Xiao, what is this creation lightning trial? Immortal asked curiously through voice transmission. According to legend, the primeval ancient lands was a pure land that was born when the heavens and the earth were split apart, and it contains the quintessence lightning that split the heavens and the earth apart. It contains the energy of creation and destruction, so it's called the tribulation lightning of creation. The creation lightning trial is very mysterious. It can help you temper your physical body. You can use all the power of the illusion demon ancient tree for your own use. Dark Ling Xiao explained. I see. Longevity nodded, a look of anticipation in his eyes. Chapter 33:17. The primitive ancient land was a strange place. It was in the demon world, but not in the demon world at the same time. It was an ancient land in the chaos, a fragment of the Eldritch continent. It had existed for many years, but it still retained the aura of when the world was created. Hence, it was called the primitive ancient land. It was said that the primitive demon emperor discovered the primitive ancient land. He attained the Tao there, comprehended the true meaning of primordial, and became the primitive true demon. Now, the primitive demon emperor was sleeping in the primitive ancient land. Demon Master, the primitive demon emperor is right in front. We are not qualified to enter, so we can only wait outside. Also, I would like to remind you that the primitive demon emperor is very hot-tempered and temperamental. He is also very powerful. You better not be his enemy. The leading black-robed Grand Elder bowed to Darkness Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with extreme fear. In front of them, there was a mysterious transparent film. It was as if the world was covered by it, and there were strands of chaotic mist. Vaguely, there seemed to be an ancient world sealed in the transparent film. Although Darkness Ling Xiao had not entered the primitive ancient land, he had already sensed the true meaning of primordial. It was as if he had returned to the beginning of the universe, and saw the original appearance of the universe. Initially, Dark Ling Xiao had only wanted to make use of the heaven-splitting thunder calamity to temper his physical body and stabilize his cultivation base. But now, Dark Ling Xiao was somewhat interested in this primitive ancient land. Don't worry. I am using the power of the primitive ancient land to cultivate. I will not disturb the primitive demon emperor. As long as he does not provoke me, I will not find trouble with him. Darkness Lingxiao smiled faintly. The 10 grand elders in black robes looked at each other and smiled bitterly. This demon master was too arrogant. He had barged into the sleeping place of the primitive demon emperor and said that he would not find trouble with others. If the primitive demon emperor heard him, he would probably kill him with a slap. The grand elders in black robes were very nervous. Although the demon masters in the past were also the masters of the demon world, they had always been respectful to the demon emperor. How could they be like Darkness Lingxiao? They suddenly felt that something bad might happen if they let Darkness Lingxiao enter the primitive ancient land. But now, they were unable to stop Darkness Soaring Clouds. They could only brace themselves and try to persuade Darkness Soaring Clouds to stay put in the primeval ancient land. Let's go. Dark soaring firmaments smiled at longevity. Whoosh! Whoosh! They turned into 2 streams of light and instantly plunged into the primitive ancient land. Is this the primitive ancient land? Changsheng looked around curiously. This was a world of gray and hazy. The world was filled with a faint mist of primal chaos. The land was so vast that one couldn't see the end of it. It was as if no one had been here for countless years. Darkness Soaring Clouds felt a deathly stillness. There was no sign of life. If those elders didn't lie to me, this should be the primitive ancient land. Dark High Firmament nodded. Is Primitive Devil Emperor sleeping here? Could it be that the moment we entered, he had already discovered us? How are we going to find the Genesis Thunder Tribulation? Changsheng asked like a curious baby. They came to the sleeping place of a great emperor. Although there didn't seem to be anything special about it, Changsheng still felt incomparably excited. I don't know if Primitive Devil Emperor has already discovered us. But the Genesis Thunder Tribulation is right there. Dark Soaring Clouds smiled faintly and pointed ahead. Rumble. Behind a patch of primal chaos, dark clouds rolled furiously. Streaks of mysterious lightning struck down from the sky, giving off a dazzling radiance. Perhaps because they were far away, they couldn't hear the rumbling of the lightning. But the scene before them was still incomparably shocking. The gigantic lightning was as thick as a mountain. It seemed to have broken through the void and primal chaos. It descended from the 9 heavens and bloomed between the heavens and earth. The lightning contained a tyrannical destructive power that seemed to be able to destroy all life. But the moment it struck, it seemed to have opened up an endless world, giving birth to boundless vitality. Darkness Soaring Clouds almost instantly determined that this was the heaven-splitting lightning tribulation. The primitive ancient land was incomparably mysterious. It was said that it was the primal chaos fragment at the beginning of the world. That should be the scene before them. There was no color, no vitality, only destruction and creation. And the Genesis Thunder Tribulation was the only color in the primitive ancient land. Is that the Genesis Thunder Tribulation? It's so majestic. Changsheng's eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Let's go. Let's go there first and use the Genesis Thunder Tribulation to help you cultivate. Perhaps you can use this opportunity to step into the Peerless Emperor realm. Dark Soaring Clouds smiled faintly. We're going there just like that. Aren't we a little too arrogant? This is the dojo of Primitive Devil Emperor. Changsheng stuck out her cute little tongue and said. She felt a little guilty when she thought that there was a great emperor sleeping here. Arrogant? Ha ha ha. That's right. You just focus on cultivating. Don't worry about anything else. I'd like to see if Primitive Devil Emperor dares to come out. Dark Ling Xiao laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with incomparable joy, and he was insolent to the extreme. Swoosh! He scooped up longevity and shot forward like a bolt of lightning, heading in the direction of the heaven-opening thunder tribulation. He did not conceal his aura at all. Wind and thunder rumbled around him and demonic light surged. He was like a peerless demon, exuding an insufferably arrogant aura. I can feel that there are many fragments of the great Tao origin here. If I cultivate here, I might be able to become an emperor very soon. Changsheng's eyes were filled with confusion as she muttered to herself softly. Become an emperor very soon. Only you would dare to say that. However, this is the primitive ancient land. The chaos fragments at the beginning of the world do contain many mysteries. It's normal for there to be many fragments of the great Tao origin here. Just focus on your cultivation. Dark soaring clouds smiled and patted Changsheng's little head. Soon, they arrived at the bottom of the Genesis Thunder Tribulation. Rumble. Thunder raged and lightning flashed. Lightning surged like a raging sea. Even from far away, one could feel a tingling aura. Gold, silver, green, red, black. All kinds of lightning intertwined and formed an extremely violent sea of lightning. Violent explosions could be heard from time to time, shaking the heavens and earth. Enter the Genesis Thunder Tribulation to cultivate. Don't worry about anything else. I'll protect you. Dark soaring clouds said to Changsheng. Thank you, Uncle Dark. Changsheng smiled sweetly. Seeing the sea of lightning formed by the Genesis Thunder Tribulation, Changsheng knew that the Genesis Thunder Tribulation was indeed beneficial to her. The chaos origin in her body seemed to have formed a mysterious resonance with the Genesis Thunder Tribulation. Changsheng did not hesitate. Even though she could feel the violent and destructive aura of the Genesis Thunder Tribulation that could even kill an emperor, she still jumped into the sea of lightning. Boom! 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 As soon as Changsheng entered the sea of lightning, the surrounding lightning seemed to have sensed Changsheng's aura. In an instant, it surged over and completely enveloped Changsheng. Bolts of lightning began to drill into Changsheng's body from her acupuncture points, and then exploded. The explosion was as if it was splitting the heavens and earth. If it was any other emperor, they would probably explode and die instantly. However, Changsheng had the innate chaotic body. Her body was immortal and invulnerable. The destructive power of the Genesis Thunder Tribulation only made her body tremble. The origin energy in her body was shattered, but her body did not suffer any fatal damage. To others, this heaven-splitting lightning tribulation is a life and death tribulation that is difficult to withstand. However, to me, it is a supreme treasure that can allow me to be reborn. Changsheng thought to herself. Her eyes brightened. She was bathed in the lightning that filled the sky. The surrounding Zhou Tian trembled and the void rumbled. The terrifying destructive lightning wreaked havoc, trying to destroy her completely. However, as Changsheng absorbed the Genesis Thunder Tribulation into her body, the feeling of her body about to explode was alleviated. After the heaven-opening Thunder Tribulation broke the surging origin energy, it naturally merged with Changsheng and was completely refined by her. There were no longer any hidden dangers. Sky-devouring secret skill, devour. Changsheng shouted. The light around her shone brilliantly and mysterious ripples spread out, forming a huge devouring vortex around her. The chaotic light rose. Changsheng pushed the sky-devouring secret skill to the extreme and began to devour the Genesis Thunder Tribulation around her. The speed of absorbing the Genesis Thunder Tribulation and refining the origin energy in her body increased by a lot. Bolts of lightning gathered and kept striking Longevity's body. Some of them even surged into her body, causing her to tremble violently. Her entire body was suffering unimaginable pain. It was the pain of being tempered. Although it could not completely destroy Changsheng's body, the pain was unavoidable. However, Changsheng did not make a sound. Her face was filled with determination. She kept circulating her cultivation while devouring the Genesis Thunder Tribulation and refining her origin energy. This girl is really audacious. She took the initiative to devour the Genesis Thunder Tribulation. Even I would be severely injured if I was not careful. She's really like a newborn calf that is not afraid of a tiger. Darkness Lingxiao was also shocked by Changsheng's actions. However, seeing that Changsheng was able to withstand the Genesis Thunder Tribulation without any injuries, Darkness Lingxiao was slightly relieved. Changsheng is cultivating here. It won't end any time soon. I can take this opportunity to see the original Demon Emperor. Dark Ling Xiao thought in his heart, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Buzz! Chaotic light rose up around him, and from the dark source of the demonic path, a figure that looked exactly like him slowly walked out from the darkness. Dark Soaring Cloud, on the other hand, silently disappeared into the void. He left a doppelganger to protect Changsheng. He hid his aura and left the place, heading towards the place where the original demon emperor was sleeping. The Peak. Chapter 33:18. Interesting. This infinite demonic armor can not only break the extreme power, but also detect the location of the extreme emperor's aura. Does this infinite demonic armor have something to do with the demon race? Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look as he thought to himself. He had already refined the infinite demonic armor, but it still had many mysterious properties. Not only could it counter the Emperor of Destruction's almost invincible extreme Dao power, it could also sense the location of the Emperor of Destruction. Through the infinite demonic armor, Darkness Ling Xiao could clearly sense the location of the ancient demon emperor. This was why he was so confident in finding the ancient demon emperor. Whoosh! Darkness Ling Xiao was extremely fast. He swept across the sky above the primitive ancient land like a bolt of lightning, exuding a vast and powerful demonic aura. With Darkness Ling Xiao's current speed, he could travel thousands of miles in an instant. In the blink of an eye, he had moved millions of miles. The primitive ancient land was incomparably vast, but Darkness Soaring Heaven discovered that this place wasn't completely devoid of life. After flying past that wasteland, there was a continuous rise and fall of mountain ranges in front of them. There was an enormous desolate beast roaring that shook the heavens. Even further away, there were some tribes with demon race members living there. There was no lack of experts among them. On top of a huge altar, Darkness Ling Xiao saw an incomparably old tribal priest dressed in animal skins. Although he exuded a lethargic aura and half his body was about to enter the earth, Darkness Ling Xiao actually felt a trace of the origin of the great Tao from his body. That tribe's priest was actually an imperial monarch expert. However, Darkness Ling Xiao could only sense this imperial emperor. Most of the others were below the saint realm. There were even many ordinary demon race members who had yet to become divine demons. Those devil tribes all worshipped the same devil god statue. It was an old man in a long robe. He had a youthful face and white hair. He had a benevolent expression on his face, and his incomparably deep eyes seemed to be staring at all living beings. Even though Darkness Ling Xiao did not recognize the demon god, he immediately understood when he sensed the mysterious primordial aura from him. They were worshipping the ancient demon emperor. Darkness Ling Xiao also sensed traces of the power of faith in the sky above the tribes. They gathered together and disappeared into the sky. Interesting. This primitive demon emperor should have attained his Tao with the origin of the primitive great Tao. Now, he is also cultivating the Tao of faith. There was a hint of surprise in Dark Soaring Cloud's eyes. This primitive ancient land was isolated from the rest of the world, but it was exceptionally vast. Although the devil tribes looked sparse, there were still hundreds of millions of them. The power of faith provided by billions of demons didn't seem like a lot, but if it had existed for an era, or even earlier, how powerful would the original demon emperor be? A trace of vigilance also arose in Dark Ling Xiao's mind. Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes suddenly flashed as he looked ahead. There was a huge altar there. It looked simple and mysterious. It was pitch black all over. A devil priest was sitting cross-legged on the altar. He was still incomparably old and emitted a lethargic aura. It was actually exactly the same as the old demon priest that Darkness Ling Xiao had seen before. The devil race priest gave Dark Soaring Clouds a very special feeling. It was as if an expert who had exhausted his life force and was about to die had suddenly recovered his full vitality. "Friend, why don't you come down for a chat?" At this moment, the old priest suddenly opened his eyes. His turbid eyes stared at Darkness Ling Xiao, indifferent and calm. "Who are you?" Darkness Ling Xiao stared at the old priest and asked indifferently. A trace of vigilance arose in his heart. This old priest gave him a very dangerous feeling. But who below the great emperor could give him such a dangerous feeling? At least, not in the primitive ancient land. Could it be? Darkness Ling Xiao had a guess in his heart. Friend, aren't you looking for me? Since you wanted to see me so much, I naturally came. The old priest smiled faintly. His smile was gentle. Although his face was old and full of wrinkles, his eyes were deep and indifferent. There was an aura of an invincible being that looked down on the world. This gaze definitely didn't belong to an emperor. This old priest must be the original demon emperor. You are the original demon emperor? A sharp light flashed in Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. No, you are not the original demon emperor. You should be a spirit clone that has attached itself to this old priest. Good move. Are you afraid that I will find out where your great emperor true body is? Darkness Ling Xiao looked at the old priest with a trace of mockery in his eyes. But in his heart, he became vigilant. This original demon emperor was indeed not someone that trash like the blood prison demon emperor could compare to. The fact that he could detect Darkness Ling Xiao's presence and appear in front of him made Darkness Ling Xiao think more highly of him. No. Although you are powerful and have a treasure like the infinite demon armor, I'm afraid you can't kill me. I'm not here to stop you, fellow Taoist, but to cooperate with you. The original demon emperor smiled faintly. Cooperate? How? Darkness Ling Xiao was surprised. He didn't expect the original demon emperor to appear of his own accord and say such words. Let's cooperate and kill the undying demon emperor. The original demon emperor said indifferently. But his voice was like thunder, exploding in Darkness Ling Xiao's mind. What? Even with Darkness Ling Xiao's state of mind, he couldn't help but be shocked. Everyone knew that the undying demon emperor, the original demon emperor, and the blood hell demon emperor were on the same side. When the blood hell demon emperor was severely injured by the Kunwu Mountains monarch, it was the undying demon emperor and the original demon emperor who stepped in. They even sacrificed the 3 lives stone to save the blood hell demon emperor's life. But now, the original demon emperor said that he wanted to cooperate with Darkness Ling Xiao to kill the undying demon emperor. It was simply the biggest joke in the world. Original demon emperor, do you think I'm a fool? You took out the 3 lives stone in exchange for the blood prison demon emperor's life, but in the end, the blood prison demon emperor died in my hands. Are you trying to buy time? A cold smile appeared in dark soaring firmament's eyes. You're right. The undying demon emperor and I did take out the 3 lives stone in exchange for the blood prison demon emperor's life. But what you don't know is that it was the undying demon emperor who took out the 3 lives stone, and it was also the undying demon emperor who didn't want the blood prison demon emperor to die. To me, the blood prison demon emperor's life doesn't matter to me. But you killed the blood prison demon emperor and ruined the undying demon emperor's plan. Not only will I be in trouble, but you will also be targeted by the undying demon emperor. He won't let this go. In order to fight against the undying demon emperor, our cooperation is the only way out. The original demon emperor smiled faintly. I don't know what you're talking about. Darkness Ling Xiao said coldly. Don't worry, I'll tell you all this slowly. The original demon emperor was very patient. He stretched out his hand and a stone table appeared in front of him. There were many teacups and teapots on it. He then took out a few tea leaves that contained great Tao runes and put them into the teapot. Then, he poured the origin spiritual spring water into it and started to boil it. His actions were very elegant and graceful. He didn't look like a demon emperor at all. Instead, he looked like a great scholar in the human world. Every action of his was in accordance with the great Tao. Innate Tao enlightenment tea. You're really generous. Darkness Ling Xiao landed on the altar, sat opposite the original demon emperor and said faintly. Good taste. Not only is this innate Tao enlightenment tea, it's also the tea leaves from the innate Tao enlightenment tea tree. It's been countless eras. This is the real tea leaves from the ancestral tree. The Tao enlightenment tea trees that appeared in the myriad of worlds later on were all cultivated. The original demon emperor smiled faintly. Oh. Then I'd like to have a taste of the tea leaves from the innate Tao enlightenment tea tree. Darkness Ling Xiao said faintly. He picked up a cup of tea that the original demon emperor brewed and drank it without any hesitation. The fragrance in his mouth turned into a warm current that flowed into Darkness Ling Xiao's limbs and bones. At the same time, a mysterious Tao rhyme flowed out. It seemed to contain the great Tao origin aura, which made Darkness Ling Xiao's chaos origin even clearer. Darkness Ling Xiao received the inheritance of the chaos demon race and became one of the chaos demon race. Naturally, he cultivated the chaos origin as well, but it was more towards the darkness origin. This cup of innate Tao enlightenment tea made Darkness Ling Xiao feel that his chaos origin was about to form an origin Tao spirit. It's really good tea. Darkness Ling Xiao praised. You're really brave. Aren't you afraid that I'll do something to the tea? The original demon emperor smiled faintly. Since the original demon emperor wants to work with me, I don't think you'll use such a despicable method. Since it's good tea, I won't hold back. Darkness Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He then waved his sleeve and kept the remaining half-pot of Tao enlightenment tea. Changshen was still refining his body with the heaven-opening thunder tribulation. This Tao enlightenment tea would be more useful to him. You're really shameless. But I like it. The original demon emperor was stunned by Darkness Ling Xiao's actions. He smiled bitterly. Back to the topic. Do you know how many demon emperors there are in the demon race? The original demon emperor changed the topic and asked. How many demon emperors are there in the demon race? Although I'm not sure, there should be some hidden demon emperors other than you three, right? Darkness Ling Xiao said. That's right. There are some hidden old monsters in the demon race other than us three, but they're not demon emperors. They're more like old things with one foot in the grave. They're at the end of their lifespans, but they're still hanging on by a thread. Unless it's absolutely necessary, they won't attack. Because the moment he made a move, it was possible that he would die. Therefore, the only ones who can really move unhindered in the untainted land are the undying demon emperor, me, and the blood prison demon emperor. Of course, an era ago, when the demon race was at its peak, there were more demon emperors. But most of them died in the hands of the heaven emperor. Although we mobilized some old monsters, risked mutual destruction, paid a huge price, and finally killed the heavenly emperor, the devil race also declined a lot. In this era, no one has been able to confirm their Tao and become an emperor. The original demon emperor said slowly. I see. Since only you and the undying demon emperor can move unhindered in the untainted land, when you wake up, you'll be the real masters of the demon realm. Why do you want to deal with the undying demon emperor? Darkness Ling Xiao asked curiously. Why do I want to deal with the undying demon emperor? Because if I don't deal with him, he'll kill me. The original demon emperor smiled bitterly. When he mentioned the undying demon emperor, there was a trace of fear in his eyes. The Peak. Chapter 33:19. Kill you? Darkness Ling Xiao was taken aback. He did not expect this to be the reason why primitive demon emperor wanted to kill the undying demon emperor. Do you know how long the undying demon emperor has lived? Primitive demon emperor asked. I don't know. I know that the undying demon emperor is an epoch great emperor. He has existed since the last demon epoch. He should have lived for a few epochs. Darkness Ling Xiao shook his head. Not only that. As far as I know, the undying demon emperor has existed since 10 epochs ago. How long has he lived? Maybe even longer. Do you really think that he can survive the Great Tribulation every single time? Primitive demon emperor said slowly. 10 epochs ago. No wonder he is called the undying demon emperor. He has lived for a long time. Perhaps only the Hong Jun old ancestor from the immortal tribe can be compared to him. Darkness Ling Xiao said in a low voice. That's right. He has lived for a very long time, so long that there are almost no records of him in the past in the devil world. However, I know that he has cultivated an extremely terrifying devil art that can devour a great emperor for his own use. Then, he can borrow that great emperor's fate to help him overcome the great tribulation of an epoch. Therefore, he has used this technique to survive the great tribulation many times over the past epochs. Originally, the blood prison demon emperor was chosen by him to help him survive the great tribulation. Unfortunately, the blood prison demon emperor was killed by you. Do you think he will let you go? What's worse is that without the blood prison devil emperor, I am the most suitable person for him to cross the tribulation. At that time, if he devours me and uses my life to cross the great tribulation, I will definitely die in his hands. Therefore, you and I are both people he wants to kill. This is the basis of our cooperation. Primitive demon emperor stared at Darkness Ling Xiao and said slowly. Devour a great emperor and help him survive the great tribulation. I have never heard of such a demonic technique. Darkness Ling Xiao said in shock. I see. No wonder Primitive Demon Emperor wanted to cooperate with him. If what Primitive Demon Emperor said was true, once the Undying Demon Emperor woke up, the first person he would kill would be Darkness Ling Xiao. You must have heard that the Undying Demon Emperor took out the 3 Lives Stone in exchange for the Blood Prison Demon Emperor's life? Do you know what the 3 Lives Stone is? Primitive Devil Emperor asked. 3 Lives Stone. I've never heard of this treasure before. However, to be able to exchange for the life of a great emperor, it is probably more valuable than an extreme Dao Emperor weapon, right? Dark Spirit Rhinoceros said slowly. That's right. The Stone of 3 Lives was a supreme treasure refined by the Undying Devil Emperor using the complete body and nascent spirit of a great emperor. He would sever the past and future of the great emperor in the river of time and fuse them together, turning them into a supreme treasure known as the Stone of 3 Lives. The 3 Lives Stone wasn't an extreme Dao Monarch weapon, but it was even more precious than an extreme Dao Monarch weapon because the 3 Lives Stone was equivalent to a complete peerless great sovereign. If one could completely refine the 3 Lives Stone, they would be able to create a great sovereign. Even though it might be slightly weaker than a great sovereign who had reached the Dao Monarch realm on their own, it was still a great sovereign that could suppress the fate of a clan. Most importantly, the 3 Lives Stone could sever the past and present of a person, turning them into a true fateless one. People like that were even more dangerous than great emperors, and could undergo all sorts of unimaginable transformations. However, those transformations couldn't be controlled, and not even the Undying Devil Emperor had ever attempted to do so. I suspect that the Sovereign Emperor of Kunwu Mountain wanted to use the 3 Lives Stone to create a great sovereign, and use that to suppress the destiny of the human race. Only the Undying Devil Emperor could refine the 3 Lives Stone, and that's because he cultivated that devil art. Primitive Devil Emperor explained the secrets of the 3 Lives Stone to Dark Spirit Rhinoceros. A single 3 Lives Stone can create a supreme martial monarch. This Undying Devil Emperor really is terrifying. But if that's the case, then the Undying Devil Emperor must have created quite a few great emperors, right? Dark Spirit Rhinoceros asked curiously. Do you really think it's that easy to create a great emperor? He needed the complete fleshly body and nascent divinity of a great emperor, and also needed to sever the past and present of the person. Was that all for the sake of creating an ordinary great emperor? Furthermore, the Undying Devil Emperor also needed to consume great emperors to undergo tribulations. How many great emperors in the multiverse could he possibly find to refine the 3 Lives Stone? My guess is that he doesn't have more than 3 Stone of 3 Lives. That's already his limit. Primitive Devil Emperor shook his head. Does the Sovereign Emperor of Kunwu Mountain want the 3 Lives Stone so that Jiang Yuyang can corroborate his Dao and become a great emperor? Dark Spirit Rhinoceros wondered. After all, Dark Spirit Rhinoceros and Zhao Ritian could corroborate their Dao with their own power. They didn't need the 3 Lives Stone. Jiang Yuyang was the only one who needed it. However, Dark Spirit Rhinoceros had a feeling that there was more to it than that. Perhaps the Sovereign Emperor of Kunwu Mountain wanted the 3 Lives Stone for other reasons. Holy Son of Dark Spirit Rhinoceros, Primitive Devil Emperor said, I've already told you everything. Now, whether or not you want to work with me to deal with the undying Devil Emperor is up to you. Primitive Devil Emperor glanced at Dark Spirit Rhinoceros and said. He seemed to be very patient. He took out a teapot and brewed a cup of tea. This time, although the teapot was filled with precious spiritual tea, it wasn't as good as the innate enlightenment tea. Dark Spirit Rhinoceros pondered for a moment. He looked at Primitive Devil Emperor and said, the undying Devil Emperor is now the epic Great Emperor. I don't know how many epochs he has lived and how many epochs he has cultivated. You're at most a peak Great Emperor, right? Do you really think that the two of us can deal with the undying Devil Emperor? Primitive Devil Emperor smiled. He knew that although Dark Spirit Rhinoceros didn't say it explicitly, his question meant that Dark Spirit Rhinoceros was tempted. The undying Devil Emperor is indeed very strong. The epic Great Emperor's strength is unfathomable. If I were to fight him, I would definitely die. I might not even be able to escape. Moreover, he has lived for so many years. It's hard to say how many tricks he has up his sleeves. However, there is someone who can deal with him. Primitive Devil Emperor said slowly. Who? Heaven's chosen one and you. Primitive Devil Emperor stared at Dark Spirit Rhinoceros and said word by word. Dark Spirit Rhinoceros's heart skipped a beat. He almost thought that Primitive Devil Emperor had seen through his relationship with Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao obtained the secret of transcendence in Eternal Emperor Road. The undying Devil Emperor has lived for so long because of the secret of transcendence. Therefore, once Ling Xiao comes out of seclusion, the undying Devil Emperor will definitely not let him go. He will definitely kill Ling Xiao personally and take the secret of transcendence. However, Ling Xiao has the secret of transcendence. He might even have obtained the inheritance of a transcendence expert. How could he be so easy to deal with? Your infinite devil armor is the nemesis of great emperors. It has a strong restraining effect on extreme emperor aura. At that time, if you sneak up on the undying Devil Emperor, even if the undying Devil Emperor's strength is unfathomable, he will be severely injured by you and Ling Xiao. Then, you and I will attack together and kill the undying Devil Emperor. Primitive Devil Emperor said slowly. Cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. Are you so sure that Ling Xiao and I can injure the undying Devil Emperor? If even we are no match for him, I'm afraid we will die in his hands. Dark Ling Xiao sneered and said. Don't worry, he will die for sure. Back then, there was a divine magus of the Wu clan. His partner was also a great emperor of the Wu clan. She was secretly attacked and devoured by the undying Devil Emperor. As the one who went through the tribulation for him, this is a top secret. Even the divine magus doesn't know about it. What do you think the divine magus will do if I tell him about this? That divine magus is also a great emperor of an era. Although he isn't as strong as the undying Devil Emperor, he still has the cultivation of 3 eras. Primitive Devil Emperor said with a faint smile. However, that smile looked a little cold and creepy. A divine magus of the Wu clan. It is said that he is also a terrifyingly powerful being. He is the disciple of the ancestor of the Wu clan. If he attacks, the undying Devil Emperor might be severely injured. Dark Ling Xiao nodded and said. So now, we are officially working together. Primitive Devil Emperor said with a faint smile. Sure. But I have a condition. Dark Ling Xiao said indifferently. What condition? Tell me. Primitive Devil Emperor asked. I want 30 light of heaven splitting tribulation. Dark Ling Xiao said. 30 light of heaven splitting tribulation. You. How dare you ask for that? I'm afraid there are less than 30 light of heaven splitting tribulation in the entire Eldritch continent. I can only give you 3 at most. Primitive Devil Emperor's mouth twitched as he said with pain. The heaven-splitting calamity light started at the beginning of the ancient age. It was a supreme treasure born from the heaven-splitting lightning calamity. It could be used to refine an extreme great emperor weapon or to comprehend the great Tao of heavenly punishment. He didn't expect Dark Ling Xiao to know about the light of heaven-splitting tribulation. Deal. Dark Ling Xiao said quickly. Seeing dark soaring clouds agree so quickly, Primitive Devil Emperor knew that he had been tricked. This guy was just asking for a sky-high price and asking for money on the spot. However, although the 3 light of heaven splitting tribulation were precious, he didn't mind giving it to Dark Ling Xiao. As long as Dark Ling Xiao could kill the undying Devil Emperor, the loss would be negligible. You want the light of heaven splitting tribulation for that young man who is in the middle of the lightning of heaven splitting tribulation, right? That's strange. He also cultivates the great Tao of chaos. Is there anyone else in the Chaos Devil race other than you? Primitive Devil Emperor asked with confusion. Of course. The Chaos Devil race isn't completely extinct. I'm now the clan leader of the Chaos Devil race. They are all living in a secret land. The young man called Long Out Yen is a genius in my race. 3 light of heaven splitting tribulation is enough for him to break through to the 9th heaven of Imperial Emperor realm. Dark Ling Xiao said without changing his expression. With Changsheng's current cultivation, even Primitive Devil Emperor wouldn't be able to see through his complete realm heaven shrouding secret skill. Hence, Dark Ling Xiao wasn't worried at all. Alright. I didn't expect Holy Sun Dark to be so considerate of your juniors. Here are the 3 light of heaven splitting tribulation. Keep it well. Primitive Devil Emperor nodded and waved his sleeve. Instantly, the void cracked open and 3 brilliant lights flew towards Dark Ling Xiao. Darkness Ling Xiao reached out and grabbed the 3 beams of light in his palm. They were 3 purple lightning bolts that intertwined with mysterious light. They had an ancient aura and were extremely mysterious and extraordinary. Darkness Ling Xiao revealed a satisfied expression when he saw that it was the light of splitting heaven tribulation. Thank you. Also, I'm no longer the Holy Sun Dark. I'm the Demon Master, the Lord of the Devil World. Even you have to listen to me in name. Dark Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Demon Master. You're indeed very suitable for the position of Demon Master. Alright, Demon Master, I'll keep an eye on the whereabouts of the undying Demon Emperor. Once he fully awakens and goes to deal with Dark Ling Xiao, I'll inform you. That will be the time for us to kill the undying Demon Emperor. Primitive Devil Emperor said with a smile. Goodbye. Dark Ling Xiao nodded and glanced at Primitive Devil Emperor indifferently. Then, he turned around and flew across the sky. Interesting. He can actually become the owner of the infinite demon armor. Looking at Dark Ling Xiao's back, Primitive Devil Emperor's eyes flashed with a strange light. There seemed to be a burning look in them. The Peak. Chapter 33:20. Within the Transcendence Scroll, Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes. Boom. In his eyes, there seemed to be 2 streaks of light that pierced through the void, causing billions of stars to fall and countless living beings to return to the void. It was mysterious and majestic. At this moment, Ling Xiao's hair and beard were all white. His white hair fluttered in the wind, and his entire body emitted a kind of lethargy. It was as if his life had come to an end, and the fire of life would be extinguished at any time. However, the aura on his body was unprecedentedly powerful. His blood and chi surged, as if there was a strange scene of the birth and destruction of the world. The chaotic light lingered around his body, intertwining with the primordial purple chi. It was as if it was at the beginning of the ancient era, before heaven and earth were separated. In Ling Xiao's body, the 3,000 great Tao origins were like a vast starry sky. They intertwined with each other and had gradually merged into one. A mysterious power was dense. A trace of it could crush the sky and destroy the world. The power was terrifying to the extreme. This was the power that was born after 10,000 Tao origins and 3,000 great Tao origins merged. Ling Xiao called it the power of the ruler. Ling Xiao had already walked a small part of the path of 10,000 Tao origins and the fusion of the great Tao. He had completed about 30% of the fusion. The reason why Ling Xiao woke up was that his lifespan was about to be exhausted. I still have 100 years of lifespan. This life-reversing technique is really heaven-defying. Now, I have fused 30% of the great Tao origins. When I completely fuse them, I will become a great emperor and transcend. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he muttered to himself. What kind of majestic life origin had he accumulated before? Even compared to the unparalleled great emperors, he was not inferior. However, after activating the Eye of the Ruler and the life-reversing technique, he stepped on the path of 10,000 Tao origins and completely fused the great Tao origins in his body. His life origin burned like a raging fire, and he only had 100 years of lifespan left. However, he had only fused 30% of the great Tao origins. It could be seen how difficult the path of 10,000 Tao origins was. If it were other great emperors, they would probably not even be able to fuse 10% of the great Tao origins before their lifespan was exhausted and they died completely. However, with only 30% of the origin of the great ways, I feel that my current strength has increased by more than 100 times. Ling Xiao slowly stood up. There seemed to be a heaven-splitting tribulation lightning exploding around him. Then, there were endless roars of dragons, the chanting of gods and demons, and the humming of the great Tao. Every breath he took was like a hurricane that could destroy the world. This was because Ling Xiao's strength had skyrocketed and he had yet to fully adapt to it. He was like a connate fiend god now. He could tear apart the stars, obliterate the earth, and shatter the void with a wave of his hand. I think I can kill a great emperor with one punch. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. The news of me obtaining the secret of transcendence should have already spread throughout the universe, right? I wonder if the great emperors in slumber have woken up. It would be great if any great emperors came to kill me. A faint smile appeared on Ling Xiao's face. Now that his lifespan was exhausted, he had to replenish his life essence as soon as possible. If he wanted to complete the unification of all Taos, he would need a huge amount of lifespan. Only a great emperor could provide such a vast lifespan, right? Ling Xiao's smile was like a demon's. It was chilling. The Transcendence Scroll isolated everything, including the connection between Ling Xiao and his two clones. Before entering the Transcendence Scroll, Ling Xiao had placed the wordless heavenly book, the Fortune Jade Disc, and the Hongmeng Pearl outside the Transcendence Scroll. When he sensed that there was something wrong with the three Chaos Treasures, Ling Xiao didn't hesitate to throw them outside. Personal strength was the foundation of everything. Now, Ling Xiao had done it. He wanted to see if the wordless heavenly book, the Fortune Jade Disc, and the Hongmeng Pearl would completely submit to him. If they didn't submit, he would beat them until they did. Rumble. The Transcendence Scroll trembled violently. This scroll was originally created by the power of a transcender. Now that Ling Xiao had obtained the secrets of transcendence and stepped onto the path of the unification of the myriad Taos, the Transcendence Scroll seemed to have completed its mission and gradually began to dissipate. It was like the destruction of the world. The vast and chaotic Tao origin surged. The terrifying power was enough to kill any imperial emperor. However, Ling Xiao stood there without any movement. The fluctuations caused by the destruction of the Transcendence Scroll didn't affect him at all. He took a step forward and appeared outside the Transcendence Scroll. This place was still the dark world. The strange black mist surged violently. There were some strange creatures in the mist, letting out heart-palpitating roars. It was as if they would pounce over at any time and tear Ling Xiao into pieces. An ancient book, a jade disc, and a purple pearl floated in the void. The wordless heavenly book, the Fortune Jade Disc, and the Hongmeng Pearl were waiting there quietly. Swoosh! 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 After sensing Ling Xiao's aura, the three Chaos Treasures immediately flew into Ling Xiao's body like flowing lights. Freeze! Ling Xiao roared and pointed a finger in the air. Buzz! The void trembled. A mysterious river of time appeared out of nowhere and swept up the three Chaos Treasures. The vast power of time seemed to be sealed in ice, forming a time domain that enveloped the three Chaos Treasures. The three Chaos Treasures buzzed and trembled. They shot out a dazzling light at the same time. It was a chaotic and eternal power that could destroy everything. They broke through the river of time in an instant and penetrated the time domain. They continued to fly toward Ling Xiao. They were extremely anxious and fought to be the first to fly into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Want to devour your master? Ling Xiao sneered. His words were like thunder. Boom! He threw out a punch. The chaotic light bloomed as if it was splitting the sky and earth. It directly hit the wordless heavenly book. The wordless heavenly book buzzed and trembled. 108 strange halos appeared in an instant. They represented 108 ancient secret techniques. They wanted to block Ling Xiao's punch. Crack! However, Ling Xiao's punch could be called the Dominator's punch. It contained the Dominator's power and could destroy everything. No one could block it. The 108 halos burst like bubbles. The wordless heavenly book shook violently and was sent flying by Ling Xiao's punch. Boom! Boom! Ling Xiao's face was extremely cold. He threw out 2 more punches. The unparalleled fist radiance seemed to be able to destroy everything. Even the fortune jade disc and Hong Meng bead could not resist it. They were also sent flying. The 3 chaos treasures seemed to be emitting a human-like wave of grievance. They were full of longing. They floated in front of Ling Xiao and did not continue to merge with him. Your weapon spirits have not fully awakened yet. Are you so impatient? You want the secret of transcendence? You are not qualified to do so. If you want to follow me, be obedient. If you want the secret of transcendence, wait until your weapon spirits return. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Boom! He grabbed the wordless heavenly book, the fortune jade disc and the Hong Meng bead. This time, the 3 chaos treasures were obedient and did not resist. Ling Xiao casually hung them on his waist and walked off into the distance. The 3 chaos treasures only had a trace of instinct now. They did not have weapon spirits. Their weapon spirits were now hiding somewhere. Since Ling Xiao had embarked on the path of 10,000 Dao as one, he naturally did not need to rely on external objects. As long as he could complete the merging and become an emperor, he would be the greatest, most invincible and immortal existence in the world. It could be called transcendence. However, Ling Xiao did not get rid of the 3 chaos treasures. He kept them by his side until the weapon spirits returned. Then, he would completely suppress and refine them. The 10 chaos treasures had left many legends since ancient times. They could even be called the undying emperors. The weapon spirits had their own consciousness. How could they be willing to be subordinate to others? Take the wordless heavenly book for example. So many hosts had died in its hands. Many people even told Ling Xiao to be wary of the wordless heavenly book. But now, Ling Xiao had absolute confidence that he could subdue the 3 chaos treasures. Now, Ling Xiao's cultivation was still in the imperial emperor realm. However, the so-called great emperor was nothing in his eyes. Now, the myriad worlds should have completed the merging of the myriad worlds, right? The ancient times have reappeared. In the era of great battles, who can dominate? After leaving the dark world, I will be able to find out everything from darkness Ling Xiao and faith Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Rumble. Primal chaos light and primal chaos purple chi intertwined around him in a mysterious and unfathomable manner. The surrounding black mist unconsciously retreated. Even the strange creatures in the black mist revealed pairs of greedy, scorching and cold eyes. They were filled with desire for Ling Xiao. However, they also felt a sense of fatal danger from Ling Xiao. That was a sense of hopelessness. It was as if they were ants facing a divine dragon, causing them to involuntarily tremble. They could only watch as Ling Xiao left. None of the strange creatures dared to attack Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao casually threw out a punch. Immediately, an unparalleled fist mark exploded like the sun. It directly cleared the black mist in the distance. A few strange creatures in the mist were directly blasted into ashes. The other strange creatures couldn't help but tremble. They didn't dare to stay any longer and rushed into the distance. Soon, the space in front of Ling Xiao was empty. The strange creatures were all scared away. Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely deep. There was a strange light blooming. The power of the sovereign intertwined, allowing him to see through everything in front of him. The dark world was vast and boundless. It wasn't smaller than the myriad worlds. Even with Ling Xiao's current senses, he couldn't sense the boundary. He could only sense a vast, empty, lonely, and mysterious aura. There must be many secrets hidden in the dark world. But I don't have time to explore the dark world now. I'll leave it for the future. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. Then, he turned around and broke the space, leaving the dark world. I, Ling Xiao, am back. Great Emperors of the Myriad Worlds, are you ready? Chapter 33-21. The Eldritch Continent floated in the endless chaos. This was a boundless continent. No one knew how big the untainted land was. Since the complete integration of all the realms, the untainted land had appeared. It already had some of the scenes of the primeval age. The innate spiritual chi had recovered, the power of the origin had emerged, and the origin of the great path had become clearer. Even though the Eldritch Continent was in a state of chaos, there were signs of an impending storm. At the same time, the Eldritch Continent was also filled with experts and geniuses. There were even many imperial emperors who were preparing to take the final step and become emperors. On this day, the Eldritch Continent suddenly began to display a powerful vision. The void shook violently as heaven and earth rose. The divine sound of the great Tao intertwined and flowers fell from the sky. It was as if the world was being born and destroyed, and the yin and yang reversed, appeared in the sky above the Eldritch Continent. This is... Someone has become an emperor. In the Eldritch Continent, many experts raised their heads at the same time, their eyes filled with shock. Such a shocking vision, a new emperor must have been born. I just don't know which race has given birth to a new emperor. The purple chi is vast and mighty, and the immortal light is spreading across the 19 prefectures. This vision is coming from the east. That seems to be the territory of the immortals. Could it be that a genius from the immortals has proven his Tao? Immortals. Could it be the 9th prince of the immortals? The Eldritch Continent was alarmed. They all sent out powerhouses to scout for information. Even though all the worlds had merged to form the Eldritch Continent, and some ancient emperors had awakened, emperors still represented invincibility and the foundation of a race. Races without emperors were synonymous with weakness in the Eldritch Continent. They could only be bullied without even a chance to fight back. Races without emperors could only rely on other powerful races to survive, and they would become weaker and weaker. Therefore, the birth of a new emperor was something that would shock the entire Eldritch Continent. Very soon, accurate information was sent over. The 9th prince of the immortals had swallowed the 9 heavens dragon chi at the 9 dragons immortal mountain of the immortals to prove his Tao and become an emperor. On the day of Tao affirmation, purple clouds covered 30,000 miles. The fate of the celestials rose and turned into 5 sacred beasts. They came together to congratulate the 9th Prince Hung Tian. As soon as the news came out, the entire great desolate continent was in an uproar. Immortal territory, 9 dragons immortal mountain. The 9 dragon-like mountain ranges stretched for millions of miles. When they gathered together, they gave birth to 9 powerful dragon veins. At this moment, above the 9 dragons celestial mountain, a figure slowly opened his eyes. 9th Prince Hung Tian. He crossed the Emperor Tribulation, broke through the shackles, and merged with the Great Tao. He defied the heavens, proving his Tao and becoming an emperor. He was wearing a golden armor with a mysterious glow. The immortal sword in his hand emitted a peerless monarch aura, as if it could destroy everything. Hung Tian had a heroic figure and a handsome face. His entire body was surrounded by ethereal immortal light. Purple chi rose from his body, giving him an indescribable aura. When he opened and closed his eyes, there seemed to be thunder and lightning surging. The mysterious scene of falling stars made him look even more majestic and mysterious. I've finally confirmed my Tao and become an emperor. Hong Tian murmured to himself. His voice contained a trace of joy, a trace of regret, a trace of unwillingness, and a trace of sharpness. Regret and unwillingness was that he did not obtain the secret of transcendence. He had once fantasized about obtaining transcendence, proving his Tao and becoming an unprecedented great emperor. He would be invincible in the world, sweeping across all races in the universe and establishing immortality for the Celestials. However, he had still failed. He was defeated by Ling Xiao. Joy was that after he had confirmed his Tao and become an emperor, his strength had undergone a tremendous change. He could destroy mountains and rivers with a thought. Every move he made had the power to destroy the world. As soon as he had confirmed his Tao, he had surpassed many ordinary great emperors. He was almost comparable to a peak great emperor. There are thousands of great Taos, but they all lead to the same destination. It's not impossible for a great emperor to transcend. Ling Xiao, since I've lost to you, I'll borrow your daughter's life to help me transcend. Hong Tian murmured to himself. His eyes were blazing with a dazzling light. In the distance, the celestial emperor walked over. He was tall and was surrounded by a brilliant immortal glow. He was like an immortal sun that illuminated the sky. His eyes were filled with relief and joy. Tian, you've finally confirmed your Tao. The great emperor realm is just the beginning. It's not the end. The celestial emperor murmured to himself. I understand. Thank you, Father, for protecting me. Hong Tian nodded and said. There's some movement in the Eternal Emperor Road. I'm afraid Ling Xiao is coming out of seclusion. Hong Tian shuddered when he heard the celestial emperor's words. His eyes flickered with a dazzling light. Ling Xiao, huh? Very well. I've been waiting for him for a long time. Hong Tian's voice was filled with strong murderous intent. He was extremely conceited all his life. He had never taken the geniuses of the universe seriously. Even the ancient geniuses were nothing in his eyes. However, he had tasted the taste of defeat at Ling Xiao's hands. Day and night, he thought about how he would be able to completely defeat Ling Xiao one day, wipe away his humiliation, and take back the glory he had lost. It was because of his hatred for Ling Xiao that he had finally taken that step and reached the peak. He had confirmed his Tao and become a great emperor. Now, Ling Xiao was coming out of seclusion. Although Ling Xiao had obtained the secret of transcendence, it wasn't that easy to transcend. Now was the best time to kill Ling Xiao and obtain the secret of transcendence. We aren't the only ones keeping an eye on Ling Xiao when he comes out of seclusion. Many experts are watching him to obtain the secret of transcendence. I'm afraid there will be a bloody battle. Are you sure you want to take action? The Celestial Emperor said slowly. That's right. Father, if I don't take action, I won't be at peace. Hong Tian said coldly. All right. Then let's go together. The forefather didn't stop us. He must have acquiesced. This is Ling Xiao's great tribulation. If he can't overcome it, he will die. If he can overcome it, no one in the entire Eldritch continent will be able to stop him. The Celestial Emperor said slowly. This is his death tribulation. He is destined to die in my hands. Hong Tian clenched the immortal sword in his hand. His eyes shone with a dazzling light. The immortal armor on his body also hummed, emitting an immortal aura. The sword was the immortal Emperor's sword. The armor was the indestructible armor. The sword and armor were both Hong Tian's natal treasures. They had accompanied him through the Supreme Emperor Tribulation and became apex monarch weapons with unparalleled power. He was going to use the immortal Emperor's sword to cut off Ling Xiao's head. Has the myriad worlds completely merged and formed the Eldritch continent? Faith has taken a different path. Can the Tao of Faith become a great emperor? Above the chaotic void, Ling Xiao strode forward. The Eldritch continent before him was vast and boundless. It emitted a majestic aura as if an ancient legend was about to descend. It felt unreal. Even though Ling Xiao knew that the myriad worlds had merged, he still couldn't help but admire the Eldritch continent. Humans had a cycle of life and death. The world also had a cycle of life and death. 108 eras was a cycle. Now that the cycle had come to an end, the immeasurable tribulation had begun. Perhaps it was a new life. However, before this new life, there would be endless blood rain and endless killing. All living beings would fall, all living things would wither, heaven and earth would be overturned, and it would be the end of the world. Ling Xiao looked at the eldritch continent before him. It was as if his eyes were covered in a layer of blood. There were scenes of gods and demons spilling blood, all living beings crying in sorrow, and countless great emperors falling. No one can stay out of the immeasurable tribulation. If all living beings are suffering, then I will turn the world upside down and kill until blood flows. Even if I destroy the universe, it will just be rebuilding the universe. Ling Xiao murmured to himself. His eyes were filled with determination and a domineering aura that looked down on the world. You want to capture my daughter? Then don't blame me for killing all of you and uprooting all of you. Ling Xiao walked slowly. He was relaxed, but his voice was filled with killing intent. It contained an extremely cold killing intent. Touching Ling Xiao's daughter was touching his reverse scale. Everyone had to die. In front of him was a chaotic star region. Broken stars had lost their light and were cold and lonely. They floated in the chaos like a star graveyard. Ling Xiao stopped in front of the star graveyard. Are you still not going to make a move? If you don't, I will really return to the Eldritch continent. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice resounded in the void and echoed in the star graveyard. Roar! As soon as he finished speaking, there was a beast roar. The sound was like a baby crying. It was extremely sharp and seemed to be able to destroy one's primordial spirit. A primordial ferocious beast that was tens of thousands of feet long came from afar. It had 9 heads and its body was covered in the power of water and fire. It looked like a python and a dragon. It was extremely ferocious and exuded a ferocious aura. As soon as it appeared, it immediately pounced towards Ling Xiao. Primordial ferocious beast Jiuing. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a tinge of surprise. He had not expected to see such a ferocious beast. The 9-headed beast had once wreaked havoc in the ancient times. Its strength was monstrous. Although it was not as strong as a great emperor, it could defeat an imperial emperor. Its strength was extremely terrifying. As soon as the 9-headed beast appeared, its 9 heads spewed out blazing flames and water pillars. At the same time, they formed tentacles and wrapped around Ling Xiao. Boom! Facing the ferocious 9-headed beast, Ling Xiao's eyes were calm. He immediately threw out a punch. The punch seemed to contain a mighty force that could split the heavens and earth. Endless chaos was compressed in the fist print. The 9-headed beast was locked in by the punch. It did not even have the chance to move or escape. Bang! The 9-headed beast's body shook violently and suddenly exploded. A mist of blood filled the air. It was completely killed by Ling Xiao's punch. An primordial ferocious beast that was comparable to an unparalleled imperial emperor could not even take a punch from Ling Xiao and died immediately. You want to test me with a mere 9-headed beast? Since you don't want to come out, you don't have to. Ling Xiao said indifferently. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. Kacha! He threw a punch towards a broken star. The chaotic light suddenly exploded. Layers of the void instantly split open. A mysterious and powerful figure appeared and was instantly exposed to Ling Xiao's punch. How dare you! A cold voice exploded. The figure exploded with a mighty great emperor's aura. An incomparably powerful roar of a beast resounded in the void. An immemorial barbarian elephant with its head in the starry sky and its feet in hell appeared. Then, it suddenly collided with Ling Xiao's punch. Boom! The primal chaos light exploded, and the incomparably terrifying primordial barbarian elephant was instantly shattered, and the figure was directly sent flying. A great emperor actually sneakily launched a sneak attack. Am I, Ling Xiao, so terrifying? Ling Xiao sneered. The figure he had sent flying was a great monarch. Chapter 33:22. It was a tall and sturdy man dressed in animal skin. He stood in the chaotic void and there seemed to be a terrifying savage beast domain around him. Countless giant beasts roared and ferocious beasts wreaked havoc on the land. It was like a scene of destruction. His bronze skin was filled with explosive power. His face was cold and gloomy, and his eyes were filled with incomparable shock. He was the savage beast great emperor of the savage world and was known for his physical body. He was extremely powerful and had a great reputation in the myriad worlds because of his peerlessly powerful physical body. However, he couldn't even take a casual punch from Ling Xiao, and was sent flying. Savage Beast Emperor, your Savage Beast Eternal Tribulation body is not good enough. You can't even take a punch from Ling Xiao. How can you fight for the secret of transcendence with such strength? A cold and indifferent voice rang out. A light flashed in the void and a figure in a black robe appeared in front of Ling Xiao. The black-robed figure's face could not be seen clearly. Under the black robe, there seemed to be a ball of ghostly fire floating. His voice was ancient and he seemed to be an old man. His body also exuded an extremely powerful emperor's aura that caused the surrounding void to tremble. Death Spirit Emperor, I can't take a punch from Ling Xiao. Do you think you can take it? Don't be sarcastic. The Savage Beast Emperor said coldly. The black-robed figure was the Death Spirit Emperor of the Death Spirit world. Only the two of you. The rest of you don't have to hide. Come out. Ling Xiao sneered. Boom. 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 He threw out 3 punches in a row. Each punch seemed to be able to split the heavens and earth. It contained the vast chaotic Great Tao. The fist prints were unparalleled and destroyed everything. The 3 extinguished stars were directly blasted apart by him. The void shook and 3 figures appeared in front of Ling Xiao. I didn't expect it to be the 3 of you. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise as he smiled faintly. These 3 figures were all acquaintances of Ling Xiao. A young man whose entire body was shrouded in chaotic light and whose body was filled with an immortal light appeared behind him. It was the Saint of Primal Chaos. One of them was wearing a dragon robe and a flat imperial crown. His face was dignified and his temperament was ancient. His whole body was emitting bright immortal light, and he had an invincible aura. He was the Celestial Emperor of the Celestial race. The last one was wearing the imperishable armor. He had an extraordinary figure and a handsome face. He held the immortal Emperor's sword in his hand and sword intent rose around him. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. The 9th prince of the immortal clan, Hung Tian. Ling Xiao did not think that these 3 people would actually make a move to kill him as well. Moreover, the 9th prince of the immortal tribe, Hung Tian, had already proven his Tao and become an immortal emperor. The feeling he gave Ling Xiao was even stronger than the immortal emperor. Although the primal chaos Saint Wuji had yet to prove his Tao and become a great emperor, he possessed the battle prowess of a great emperor. From the looks of it, 5 great emperors had appeared all of a sudden. You guys really think highly of me, sending out 5 great emperors at once. What? Are you all here for the secret of transcendence? Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Ling Xiao, hand over the secret of transcendence. The barbaric beast great emperor said coldly. Ling Xiao, we are not here to take your life. As long as you hand over the secret of transcendence and share it with the countless living beings in the Eldritch continent, we will not kill you. The dead spirit great emperor said indifferently. What about the 3 of you? Are you also here for the secret of transcendence? Ji Tian ignored the barbaric beast great emperor and the dead spirit great emperor. His gaze fell on the primal chaos saint, the immortal emperor, and Hung Tian as he asked calmly. Ling Xiao, I am not here for the secret of transcendence. I am here for the human race. If you do not hand over the secret of transcendence, you will only bring disaster to the human race. Therefore, I hope that you will hand over the secret of transcendence. Not only will you be helping yourself, but you will also be helping the human race. The Primal Chaos Saint said seriously. Ling Xiao, I am not as easy to talk to as the rest of them. The secret of transcendence originally belonged to me, but you took it away from me. Today, not only do I want the secret of transcendence, but I also want your life. Hung Tian said coldly. He did not hide the murderous intent in his eyes. Although the immortal emperor did not say anything, he stood with Hung Tian to show his stance. Although the 5 great emperor-level experts had their own goals and schemes, they were all here for the secret of transcendence. You are no match for me. Ling Xiao said with a smile. His gaze was like a blade as he glanced at the 5 great emperors before him. While I am in a good mood, you can leave while you are still alive. Otherwise, I will kill a few more great emperors like the Heavenly Emperor. So what? Ling Xiao's voice was extremely calm, but it was like a silent thunder that exploded in the chaotic void. It contained an indescribable dominance and majesty. Arrogant. You are courting death. Murderous intent flashed across the eyes of the barbaric beast Great Emperor and the dead spirit Great Emperor. They had both attained their Tao in this era. Although they had been hiding behind the scenes for some reason, they were still extremely powerful. Now that the 5 great emperors had joined forces to deal with Ling Xiao, who was only an emperor realm expert, it was already an overwhelming advantage. However, Ling Xiao was so arrogant. Although he had obtained the secret of transcendence, did they really think that he was a transcendent? Ling Xiao, you are already the enemy of the entire world today. Why don't you surrender? Hung Tian stared at Ling Xiao and sneered. Ling Xiao had already become the target of everyone after obtaining the secret of transcendence. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was the enemy of the entire world. Although there were only 5 great emperor-level experts, countless experts in the Eldritch continent had their eyes fixed on this place. As long as Ling Xiao showed the slightest hint of fear, more experts would immediately appear and kill Ling Xiao. It was not an exaggeration to say that the 5 great emperors were testing Ling Xiao. Enemy of the entire world? Hung Tian, I didn't expect you to have not improved much after attaining your Tao. Since you are just cannon fodder and you don't know your own strength, you shall leave your lives behind. Ling Xiao sneered. Instantly, a peerless radiance bloomed in his eyes. Boom! He was like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, he turned into 5 afterimages. At the same time, he threw out 5 great fist prints towards the 5 great emperors. The 5 afterimages were like Ji Tian's real body. They contained real power. The peerless fist prints seemed to be able to destroy everything. They turned into 5 worlds and shrouded the 5 great emperors under the peerless fist radiance. They did not expect Ling Xiao to attack the 5 of them at the same time. Ignorant fool. Do you really think that you have the combat strength of a great emperor after obtaining the secret of transcendence? Today, I will let you know what a real great emperor is. The barbaric beast great emperor's eyes were blazing with killing intent. Light rose from his body as if there were 10,000 beasts roaring at the same time. His body was filled with an immortal energy. His arms suddenly expanded. His blood and chi surged. A peerless fist print seemed to contain 10,000 beasts roaring and howling, wanting to sweep everything away. 1,000 beasts tyrant fist. Kill. Murderous intent flashed across Hung Tian's eyes. The indestructible armor on his body shone brightly. His extreme emperor aura burst out. The immortal emperor sword in his hand shone brightly. It instantly split the heavens and the earth. A figure shrouded in immortal light appeared and slashed towards the 5 great emperors. Hung Tian had been thinking about killing Ling Xiao all the time. He wanted to defeat Ling Xiao completely. He wanted to return the humiliation that he had suffered from Ling Xiao. Therefore, when he saw Ling Xiao, he immediately unleashed his strongest power. Rumble. The 5 fist prints were destroyed. The 5 great emperors attacked at the same time. Their extreme emperor aura surged like the sea. In an instant, the afterimages were destroyed and Ling Xiao's true body was revealed. 5 peerless killing intents shrouded Ling Xiao from all directions. Good timing. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of incomparable excitement. His strong fighting spirit was like thunder from the 9 heavens, instantly gushing out. Boom! Chaotic divine lightning surged around him. In an instant, he teleported and appeared in front of the savage beast Great Emperor. Then, he unleashed a powerful sovereign's fist. The barbaric beast emperor's expression changed drastically as he sensed a fatal danger approaching him. Without any hesitation, he tried to retreat. Gotcha! However, he couldn't avoid the punch. The sovereign's fist that contained 10,000 Tao origin energy and 3,000 Tao origin energy broke through the afterimages of the giant beasts and collided with the savage beast Great Emperor. A crisp sound rang out. The savage beast Great Emperor's arm exploded. His flesh and blood splattered everywhere. The punch didn't slow down at all. It landed on the savage beast Great Emperor's chest at the same time, creating a huge bloody hole. Despite the savage beast Great Emperor's strong physique, he was still sent flying while coughing out blood. Slash! Ling Xiao didn't even look at the savage beast Great Emperor. After severely injuring him, he disappeared on the spot. Then, a sharp saber light slashed towards the immortal emperor. The dazzling saber light seemed to be filled with 4 different colors. It was as if the 4 saber lights had merged into one. It looked extremely sharp, but it was formless and intangible. It was as if it existed between reality and illusion. It was extremely mysterious. This was the combination of the 4 forbidden saber techniques. It was a single forbidden saber technique. This saber technique could slash both the immortal emperor's body and Tao heart. The celestial emperor's expression suddenly changed. Previously, he was severely injured by the Emperor of Kunwa Mountain and his Tao heart was damaged. He was instantly affected by this forbidden saber. He couldn't help but feel a trace of fear in his heart, causing his resistance to slow down by a bit. However, this trace of fear was enough for the forbidden saber technique to slash into his body. The immortal emperor's body trembled violently. Dense cracks appeared on his body like a spider web. His body, immortal emperor's primordial spirit, and Tao heart were all severely injured. Especially his Tao heart. There seemed to be a crisp sound. It was the sound of his Tao heart shattering. The immortal emperor also coughed out blood and retreated. He was severely injured. Rumble. Ling Xiao threw a punch at the primal chaos saint. His primal chaos secret technique contained the origin of the great Tao of chaos. This punch was fierce and domineering. Although the primal chaos saint also cultivated the great Tao of chaos, he could feel the terror of Ling Xiao. He was much stronger than before he used the Transcendence Scroll. At that time, the primal chaos saint still had the strength to fight with Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao's punch had shattered her origin of chaos. She was instantly sent flying tens of thousands of feet away. In the blink of an eye, the 4 great emperors were all defeated by Ling Xiao. Only Hong Tian was left. Buzz! The immortal emperor's sword in Hong Tian's hand was 3 inches away from Ling Xiao's forehead. It couldn't go any further. This was because 2 sparkling fingers had caught the immortal emperor's sword. Although the immortal light was blazing, the extreme emperor's aura swept across everything, and the sword chi was incomparably sharp. It wanted to cut off Ling Xiao's fingers, but only the sound of metal clashing was heard. Sparks flew in all directions. Not even a white mark was left. How is this possible? Hong Tian's eyes were filled with disbelief. The immortal emperor's sword buzzed and trembled. He tried his best to pull the immortal emperor's sword out, but he couldn't break free from Ling Xiao's 2 fingers. The immortal emperor's sword didn't move at all. Moreover, it seemed that Ling Xiao had caught the immortal emperor's sword with ease. Hong Tian, although you've confirmed your Tao and become an emperor, you're still too weak. Ling Xiao said indifferently. With that, his 2 fingers suddenly shook. Suddenly, an unparalleled divine power erupted. The immortal emperor's sword flew out of Hong Tian's hand. Ling Xiao pointed a finger in the air, aiming for the space between Hong Tian's brows. The finger light was sparkling and translucent. It contained a misty light. It seemed as if a mysterious river of time had appeared and enveloped Hong Tian. The finger was so sharp that it seemed to be able to penetrate everything. Even Hong Tian couldn't help but tremble. His eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. This finger had the power to kill him. Ling Zhao's cultivation was still at the Imperial Emperor realm, but why was he so much stronger than before? Even though Hong Tian had confirmed his Tao and become an emperor, he couldn't help but feel a sense of despair. Chapter 33-23. Bang! Hong Tian emitted an immortal glow. Brilliant immortal talismans appeared on the indestructible armor. They intertwined with the rules of Great Tao and shrouded Hong Tian in a mysterious aura. At the same time, Ling Zhao's finger landed on the indestructible armor. Buzz! The indestructible armor buzzed vigorously. A terrifying divine force burst out from the point and shattered the immortal talismans on the indestructible armor. Even with the protection of the indestructible armor, Hong Tian's body shuddered violently as if he had been struck by lightning. He coughed out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. The indestructible armor emitted a brilliant immortal glow. It swept across the place like a hurricane. Even though the indestructible armor was an extreme Tao monarch weapon and was not shattered by Ling Zhao's finger, its glow dimmed significantly. Even the extreme Tao monarch weapon was severely damaged by the attack. Ling Zhao's robe was whiter than snow. His white hair fluttered in the wind. Even though he looked lethargic as if he was nearing the end of his lifespan, the terrifying aura he was emitting was stronger than an ancient beast. Every move he made had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. However, the 5 great emperor-level experts were all defeated by him in an instant. Damn it! How long has it been since he obtained the secret of transcendence? Even if he has embarked on the path of combining 10,000 Tao into one, he must have yet to fully comprehend the secret of transcendence. He has yet to achieve the martial monarch realm. How did his combat strength improve so much? Could this be the power of combining 10,000 Tao into one? Hong Tian's eyes were filled with disbelief. His expression was extremely unpleasant. He had already achieved the martial monarch realm. His strength had improved by a few times or even a few dozen times. However, when he was facing Ling Xiao, he realized the gap between them had widened. Previously, he had also taken the path of combining 10,000 Tao into one. He had already merged 3,000 Tao fruits of origin into his body. However, he was still unable to take the second step, combining the Tao fruits of origin. Every time he tried to combine the Tao fruits of origin, he would feel a great fear between life and death. It was as if he would fall into a bottomless abyss if he took another step forward. The so-called secret of transcendence was actually the secret and method to combine the Tao fruits of origin. His heart was filled with unwillingness and jealousy. All of this originally belonged to him. However, Ling Xiao had taken it away from him. You have the strength to kill a martial monarch before transcending. How strong would you be if you really transcended? Everyone, are you still going to hold your ground? If we don't kill him today, we will die. The savage martial monarch beast said with a murderous intent. Calm. He had never thought that a mere sovereign emperor could have such terrifying combat strength. It was as if he could suppress everything. Monarch's body. Monarch death. Monarch. They were extremely powerful. Even though they had just been defeated by Ling Xiao with a single punch, and even suffered heavy injuries, their boundless life force surged, and their injuries healed at a visible rate. To great emperors, their vitality was almost limitless. Only the great tribulation of an epoch could wipe out all of their vitality. In fact, being reborn from a drop of blood was a very common technique. If one wanted to kill a great emperor, one had to be ruthless and ruthless. That's right. Great emperors are known to be invincible. You are the legends of the heavens and myriad worlds. You are also the people I have always admired. If this is all you have, then I'm really disappointed. Bring out your full strength, or else I'm afraid you won't have any chance at all. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. However, the sharpness in his eyes was like a sword light that cut through the chaos. It was extremely sharp. Ling Xiao, die. Murderous intent flashed in Hong Tian's eyes. There was even a trace of ferocity in his expression. His palm shone brightly as the immortal emperor's sword flew into his palm. In an instant, the sword light soared as if it could illuminate the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It transformed into a sword qi that could destroy everything and slashed down towards Ling Xiao. Great Massacre Sword. Hong Tian's voice was bone-chilling. He activated all of his cultivation base and unleashed a peerless attack. The sword light seemed to shatter time and space. It came from the ancient times. Under the light, countless ancient gods were bathed in blood. It was a mysterious scene of heaven and earth mourning. It was eternal and immortal. This was a supreme emperor technique created by the ancestors of the immortal tribe. It was an ultimate killing technique created by the ancestors of the immortal tribe in order to kill the ancestor god of the divine tribe. Its power was terrifying to the extreme. Hong Tian used the immortal emperor's sword to perform the Great Massacre Sword technique. It seemed like he wanted to destroy everything and break the chaos. Chaos splitting heaven. The primal Chaos Saint's eyes flashed with incomparable sharpness as he unleashed an emperor art from the primal Chaos ancient scripture. The chaos around him surged endlessly as his fists smashed everything in its path. Behind the barbaric beast Great Emperor, an immemorial barbaric elephant appeared. Its roar shook the universe. Countless stars fell and beasts were bathed in blood. The dead spirit emperor was hidden in the void. However, there were traces of death light that shrouded Ling Xiao silently. The 5 strongest experts were well aware of how terrifying Ling Xiao was, thus they did not dare to underestimate him. They immediately executed their strongest moves, unleashing a series of forbidden arts in an attempt to kill Ling Xiao. Now, this is interesting. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Boom! Battle intent rose in his eyes. Divine light flashed and he disappeared from the spot. Endless chaotic light gushed out. It was as if 3,000 stars were intertwined, forming a mysterious barrier around him. Ling Xiao created this barrier with his sovereign energy. He called it the Sovereign Barrier. This barrier was profound and unfathomable. Time and space seemed to have stopped at this moment. Ling Xiao did not have the slightest intention of blocking the attacks of the 5 experts. He directly threw a punch at the barbaric beast emperor. In Ling Xiao's opinion, although the barbaric beast Great Emperor had a strong physical body, he was the easiest to deal with. As long as the barbaric beast Great Emperor's physical body was destroyed, he could be killed. Moreover, Ling Xiao's life-reversing technique was perfected in the Transcendence Scroll. Not only was it a transcendence technique, but it was also a killing technique. It could reverse the life source of others and restore oneself. The barbaric beast Great Emperor's life force was vigorous. It was perfectly countered by the life-reversing technique. Rumble. Powerful attacks landed on the barrier, causing it to tremble violently. However, the barrier did not break at all. Ling Xiao's figure was extremely fast. It was as if he had severed his karma. He was independent of the Tao of heaven and earth. In an instant, he appeared in front of the barbaric beast Great Emperor. An unparalleled fist print landed on the barbaric beast Great Emperor. You're courting death. The barbaric beast Great Emperor was enraged. He did not expect Ling Xiao to treat him like a soft persimmon and want to kill him first. He was the sovereign of the barbaric beast race. His original form was the destructive divine mammoth. He was one of the strongest barbaric beasts in the ancient times. He had once fought with the ancestral dragon and other ancient beasts. His strength was unparalleled. Unparalleled divine force erupted from his body. His blood rose and was as vast as the sea. Similarly, he threw out an unparalleled fist print towards Ling Xiao. Boom. 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 The collision between Ling Xiao and the barbaric beast Great Emperor was like the destruction of stars and the destruction of the world. Every time they collided, the surrounding space would tremble. Dead stars seemed like they were about to fall. However, what shocked the barbaric beast Great Emperor was that Ling Xiao's physical body was even more terrifying than his. When his fist print landed on Ling Xiao's body, it was as if he had landed on an immortal metal. However, Ling Xiao's primal chaos fist print had the power to destroy everything. It caused the barbaric beast Great Emperor's physical body to crack. After dozens of punches, his entire body was covered in blood. Kacha! At this moment, Hung Tian's great massacre divine sword landed. Sword light annihilated everything. It was as if the primal chaos had been turned into nothingness under this sword. The sovereign barrier around Ling Xiao trembled violently. With a crisp sound, the sovereign barrier shattered. The dazzling immortal emperor sword slashed towards Ling Xiao's neck with deadly killing intent. Great massacre divine sword. It's indeed strong. Then you can have a taste of my taboo sword. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A dazzling sword light rose from his glabella. The sky-devouring sword flew out from his glabella. In an instant, it bloomed with unparalleled sharpness and clashed with the immortal emperor's sword. Clang! Powerful ripples spread out. The immortal emperor's sword buzzed and trembled. It actually flew out in an instant. The sky-devouring sword turned into a dazzling sword light in the 9 heavens. Sword chi fell from the sky, slashing towards Hung Tian and the immortal emperor. After perfecting the life-reversing art, Ling Xiao had also perfected the taboo sword and taboo saber. The sword and saber were the supreme taboo techniques left behind by the Transcendents. They were extremely powerful and could even be called the nemesis of the earth. The taboo saber could slash the physical body, the primordial spirit, the origin, and the Tao heart. The taboo sword could slash the heavens, the earth, and the body. The sky-devouring sword unleashed the unparalleled sharpness of the taboo sword. Its power was extremely terrifying, causing Hung Tian and the immortal emperor's expression to change drastically. Hung Tian quickly recalled the immortal emperor's sword to block in front of him. The immortal emperor even activated the ancient 9 dragons' immortal seal. This was the eternal immortal seal, an extreme Tao emperor weapon of the eternal immortal dynasty. It also had the power to suppress mountains and rivers and annihilate everything. But at this moment, they realized that they could only defend against Ling Xiao's attack. Boom! The immortal emperor's sword buzzed and trembled. The eternal immortal seal was sent flying. Hung Tian and the immortal emperor coughed out blood as if they were struck by lightning. Their eyes were filled with horror. But then, something unexpected happened. Ling Xiao did not follow up with another attack. The sky-devouring sword turned into a peerless saber light and slashed towards the savage beast Great Emperor. Taboo saber. This saber destroyed everything. It was as if the 4 dazzling saber lights had merged together. It was so fast that time and space froze. What? The savage beast Great Emperor's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He could feel the threat of death from this saber. Roar! There seemed to be the roars of ancient beasts around him. Boundless blood chi surged. An ancient cauldron floated in the void. It seemed to be able to devour billions of savage beasts. It exuded a mighty extreme Tao Emperor's aura. Savage cauldron. This was the savage beast Great Emperor's extreme Tao Emperor weapon. When he sensed the fatal threat from the sky-devouring sword, he did not hesitate to activate the savage cauldron. Chapter 33-24. The ancient barren cauldron expanded in the void and emitted boundless ancient barren chi. It was like an immemorial mountain that was 1,000,000 zhang tall. At this moment, countless lifelike immemorial beasts rushed out from the cauldron and pounced towards Ling Xiao. Destroy! Ling Xiao shouted indifferently and his eyes were cold. The sky-devouring sword slashed down from the sky. The 4 streaks of light merged into one, radiating with the power of obliteration and ruin's end. It swept away all the primordial beasts in an instant before slashing down on the savage cauldron without losing any momentum. Clang! The Heaven Devourer's sword and the ancient barren cauldron shook violently. Flames spewed out and lightning blazed. Runes exploded one after another. The ancient barren cauldron shook violently, but it managed to block the Heaven Devourer's sword's attack. Not good. The savage beast Great Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. Suddenly, his face changed and his eyes were filled with fear. A bright and blazing blade light pierced through the ancient barren cauldron and slashed into the savage beast Great Emperor's body. The ancient barren cauldron managed to block the Heaven Devourer's sword, but it did not block the forbidden blade. The forbidden blade was hidden between reality and illusion. It did not have a physical body. Once the blade was unleashed, it was impossible to block it. Even an extreme emperor weapon could not block it. Back when Ling Xiao had faced Ba Dao's Avicii infernal demon burial saber, it had not been a complete forbidden saber. He had only been able to block that domineering saber by activating the origin Dao fruit in his primordial spirit to form a defensive barrier. If the savage beast Great Emperor had cultivated his origin Emperor Dao to the great perfection realm and had complete control over it, he might have been able to withstand it. But now, he couldn't withstand the forbidden saber at all. Rumble. The savage beast Great Emperor's body shook violently. His physical body started to crack like a spider web. His indestructible primordial spirit also started to crack. The savage beast Dao that he cultivated shook violently and was injured by the blade intent. It looked like it was going to collapse at any moment. The most terrifying thing was his Dao heart. Cracks appeared on his Dao heart. He looked at Ling Xiao with unconcealable fear. Although the savage beast Great Emperor did not look like he was severely injured, he was indeed severely injured by Ling Xiao. His strength was immediately reduced by 90%. Life reversal technique. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with cold killing intent as he slammed his palm down on the barbaric beast emperor's chest. Even though he didn't know the barbaric beast emperor, he wouldn't hold back since the barbaric beast emperor dared to kill him. Activating the life-reversing art, an unparalleled divine power erupted. The barbaric beast Great Emperor's entire body seemed to be imprisoned by a mysterious power. Moreover, he was incomparably horrified to discover that the boundless vitality in his body was actually being devoured by Ling Xiao like a whale swallowing the sea. His life providence trembled violently as though it would shatter at any moment. Although he was an Emperor realm expert, the savage beast emperor felt like a child when Ling Xiao used the fate-reversing technique. He didn't have the slightest ability to resist. Save me. Savage beast emperor's eyes were filled with terror as he shouted at dead spirit emperor, Hong Tian, and the others. Kill. The dead spirit emperor, Hong Tian, and the others' faces changed drastically. In just an instant, the barbaric beast Great Emperor was already in danger. If this continued, the barbaric beast Great Emperor would really die in Ling Xiao's hands. Kill. Hong Tian gritted his teeth as the killing intent in his eyes intensified. He actually spat out a mouthful of blood and instantly infused it into the immortal Emperor's sword, causing the immortal Emperor's sword to shine brightly. Swoosh. 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 In an instant, the immortal Emperor's sword split into thousands of swords in the void and slashed down towards Ling Xiao. Sword chi scattered down like starlight, but it contained a sharpness that could pierce through everything. A black scythe appeared in the dead spirit emperor's palm. It contained a pure aura of death and instantly pierced through the void, slashing towards Ling Xiao's neck. Death Scythe. This was the dead spirit emperor's supreme emperor weapon for harvesting living beings. It was a killing treasure that could kill without leaving a trace. Moreover, it was impossible to lock onto its direction. In an instant, it appeared behind Ling Xiao. The Celestial Lord's Eternal Celestial Seal and the Primal Chaos Saint's Bell of Primal Chaos also swept across the void and slammed towards Ling Xiao. Under the control of the Supreme Emperor weapons, a destructive sharpness was unleashed. It was as though an emperor had awakened and its power was extremely terrifying. I'll leave it to you guys. Ling Xiao did not even look at them. With a wave of his sleeve, the wordless heavenly book, the fortune jade disc, and the Hong Meng bead appeared. The three primal chaos treasures intertwined with blazing primal chaos light and protected Ling Xiao as they flew toward the few extreme Tao Emperor weapons. Rumble. The Supreme Emperor weapons swept across the void and were instantly blocked by the wordless heavenly book, the fortune jade disc, and the Hong Meng bead. Numerous supreme treasures collided in the void, erupting with violent rumbles. Blazing divine light swept out in all directions like a storm sweeping out. The three chaos treasures intertwined with each other and formed a chaos boundary. It was mystical and it blocked the four supreme experts outside. They were unable to rush in to save the barbaric beast emperor. Ling Xiao did not care about the four of them. He fully activated the life-reversing skill to devour the barbaric beast emperor's life force. The myriad Tao origin in his body started to circulate and consume his life force to merge with the Supreme Emperor weapons. The life-reversing skill was a transcendence skill left behind by a transcendence realm expert. It could merge the Supreme Emperor weapons into one. Even an Emperor weapon would not be able to withstand such terrifying power. When one's cultivation reached the Emperor weapon realm, a drop of blood was comparable to a Supreme Sage pill. One's entire body was filled with treasures and their life force was almost limitless. However, as the barbaric beast emperor had offended Ling Xiao, he had become nourishment for the life-reversing skill. His life force was being devoured by Ling Xiao continuously. The barbaric beast emperor soon shriveled up and his body was filled with a gloomy aura. He was like a candle flame in the wind and he looked like he would die at any time. Ling Xiao, the barbaric beast emperor looked extremely old and there was a hint of pleading in his eyes as he looked at Ling Xiao. He opened his mouth and wanted to say something. Boom! Ling Xiao's palm spewed out sharp radiance and an unparalleled chaotic light exploded. The barbaric beast emperor was instantly shattered and turned into ashes. After being killed by the forbidden blade and having his life force devoured by the life-reversing skill, the barbaric beast emperor could not escape the fate of death despite his terrifying strength. An emperor weapon realm expert was slaughtered. What? The dead spirit emperor, Hong Tian, the immortal king, and the primal chaos saint were all in disbelief. The barbaric beast emperor died in Ling Xiao's hands just like that in front of them. Moreover, his death was extremely tragic. Ling Xiao had devoured all of his life force. Their hearts couldn't help but tremble a little. They had never heard of such a strange technique that could directly kill an emperor weapon realm expert. Their fear for Ling Xiao had reached an extreme. You're next. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as his gaze fell upon the dead spirit emperor who was hiding in the void. The dead spirit emperor could not help but stiffen. Ling Xiao, you think you can kill me? The dead spirit emperor forced himself to remain calm as he sneered. He was not like the idiot barbaric beast emperor who stood there waiting for his death. He knew that if he could not defeat Ling Xiao, it would not be a problem for him to escape. If I say I'm going to kill you, you will definitely die. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Buzz. In the next moment, the sky-devouring sword appeared around the dead spirit emperor and split into 4 ancient swords. They hung in the 4 directions and enveloped the dead spirit emperor. Kill! Ling Xiao roared. It was like a thunderstorm with boundless heavenly might. He threw out a punch. Chaos rose, destiny emerged, karma intertwined, and reincarnation was born. This punch contained the power of the 4 great Tao origins. It turned into the power of the sovereign and went straight for the dead spirit emperor's head. How dare you! Hong Tian, the immortal king, and the primal chaos saints' faces changed. They immediately took out their extreme Tao emperor weapons and executed powerful supreme forbidden skills to attack Ling Xiao. The barbaric beast emperor had already died in Ling Xiao's hands. If the dead spirit emperor was also killed by Ling Xiao, the 3 of them would not be a match for him. Get lost! Ling Xiao sneered. His eyes were filled with disdain. He threw out a palm and an unparalleled palm print covered the sky and blocked in front of Hong Tian and the other 2. Boom! Hong Tian and the other two shuddered and were sent flying by Ling Zhao's palm. The wordless heavenly book, fortune jade disc, and Hong Meng bead also exploded with powerful power and went towards Hong Tian and the other two, blocking their way. Ling Zhao's fist print arrived in front of the dead spirit emperor in an instant. Damn it! The dead spirit emperor's face changed drastically. He could not believe how Ling Zhao had captured his aura and locked onto him. When he sensed the appearance of the sky-devouring sword, he wanted to break through the sword light of the sky-devouring sword and break out of the encirclement. However, it was too late. Ling Zhao was already in front of him. Death Transcendence Holy Light. The dead spirit emperor roared and mysterious eyes seemed to appear around him. At the same time, they shot out dazzling radiance and shrouded Ling Zhao. Those beams of light contained a sharp light that could pierce through everything and dense murderous intent. They swept across the sky majestically. Rumble. Ling Zhao's Dominator's fist print exploded and collided with the Death Transcendence Holy Light. In an instant, all the beams of light were destroyed. Then, without losing any momentum, the Dominator's fist print blasted onto the dead spirit emperor's chest. Puff! A huge bloody hole appeared on the dead spirit emperor's chest. Ling Zhao's punch had penetrated through his chest. The sky-devouring sword shone with dazzling radiance and sword chi was unparalleled. It turned into a forbidden sword and slashed towards the dead spirit emperor. The surrounding sky was destroyed and the earth disappeared. Only an eternal sword light was left and it slashed onto the dead spirit emperor's body. Even though the dead spirit emperor was hidden in the void and did not seem to have a physical body, when he was hit by the sword, his body shook violently and he let out an earth-shattering roar. A huge sword wound was left from his forehead to his abdomen. It was as though he was going to be split into two. The dead spirit emperor's body was surrounded by a black deathly light. He turned into a huge spider in an instant. Like a mountain, he floated in the chaotic void. That black spider had 1,000 eyes and 1,000 hands. His eyes were filled with murderous intent and resentment. Ling Zhao did not expect the dead spirit emperor's original body to be a dead spirit spider. He glared at Ling Zhao and instantly wanted to turn around and run away. Peak. Chapter 33-25. Destroy. Ling Zhao's gaze was indifferent. The sky-devouring sword released an unparalleled sharpness as it slashed towards the dead spirit spider. A long river of time appeared and enveloped the dead spirit spider in an instant. The dead spirit spider wanted to escape. Its body trembled violently as it struggled, but it couldn't break free at all. No! The undead spirit spider's eyes revealed an incomparably terrified and despairing expression as it let out an indignant roar. Crack! The sword chi shattered the void and sliced the undead spirit spider in half in an instant. Ling Zhao instantly used the art of reversing fate. His entire body was like a mysterious devouring vortex that contained endless power as it enveloped the dead spirit spider. The dead spirit spider was an ancient beast. It had attained the Emperor realm with great difficulty in this era and was known as the Dead Spirit's Emperor. However, due to a moment of greed, it had now fallen into Ling Zhao's hands. To the Dead Spirit's Emperor, having his lifespan and vitality devoured by the art of reversing fate was a fate worse than death. The art of reversing fate was extremely domineering. It was to reverse fate, shatter everything, and seize life from the heavens. Even a great emperor couldn't escape from it. Boom! The great Tao of death that the dead spirit emperor cultivated was shattered all of a sudden. His huge body quickly withered, and his vitality vanished completely. In the end, the dead spirit's emperor instantly turned into ashes and completely disappeared from the void. It was as if he had never appeared. The dead spirit's emperor had been killed. The second great emperor was dead. Hong Tian, the immortal lord, and the primal chaos saint couldn't hide the fear in their eyes. Their hearts were filled with great shock. Ling Zhao had killed two great emperors in front of them. He wasn't a great emperor, but he had killed two great emperors with his immortal lord cultivation. They vaguely saw the former heavenly emperor and the former great void emperor. Although Ling Xiao was still an immortal lord, they could faintly feel that Ling Xiao's power had been established. They were afraid that they couldn't do anything about it. Let's go. The immortal lord took a deep look at Ling Xiao and said decisively. Staying behind was just courting death. They were no match for Ling Xiao. Although Hung Tian's heart was filled with unwillingness, he had already understood that the gap between him and Ling Xiao was still very large. Even though he had proven his Tao and become an emperor, even though he had the fighting strength of a peak great emperor, he was still no match for Ling Xiao. He killed 2 great emperors in a row. I'm afraid he already possesses the strength of an epic great emperor. But how is that possible? Once he completes the unification of all Daos and completely proves his Tao and becomes an emperor, how strong will he be? Hung Tian's heart was filled with shock and unwillingness. However, he still left with the immortal emperor. Even the primal chaos saint took a deep look at Ling Xiao before summoning the cauldron of primal chaos and flying away. Ling Xiao watched as the 3 of them left. He did not choose to pursue them. Firstly, he was still executing the life-reversing technique to refine the Death Spirit Emperor's boundless vitality and lifespan. Secondly, he probably couldn't kill the 3 of them yet. Behind Hung Tian and the Celestial Emperor is the unfathomable Hung Jun ancestor. But what about the Chaos Saint? Could it be the legendary Primal Chaos Emperor? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he thought to himself. Legend had it that the Chaos Great Tao, the Fate Great Tao, the Karma Great Tao, and the Reincarnation Great Tao were the top 4 supreme Great Taos among the 3,000 Great Taos. However, for 108 eras, no one had been able to prove these 4 Great Taos. This was because the Primal Chaos Emperor, the Fate Emperor, the Karma Emperor, and the Reincarnation Emperor had proven their Taos in ancient times. Legend had it that they had lived until now and had not died. Therefore, no one could prove these 4 Great Taos. Previously, Ling Xiao had formed the ruler's eye by merging the Chaos Great Tao, the Fate Great Tao, the Karma Great Tao, and the Reincarnation Great Tao origins. However, he vaguely felt like he was being spied on. Although the feeling was very faint, Ling Xiao could feel it clearly. No matter what, I'm afraid they will show up soon. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Hung Tian, the immortal emperor, and the primal chaos saint had left. It seemed like Ling Xiao was the only one left in this vast void. However, Ling Xiao knew that there were countless pairs of eyes spying on him. If you want to fight, come quickly. If you don't, get lost. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His voice was like thunder, reverberating in the void and spreading in all directions. It was as if it contained a powerful sound wave that swept across the area. Dozens of divine consciousnesses that were spying on Ling Xiao were instantly destroyed. Ling Xiao is so domineering. Someone snorted. He has the right to be domineering. After obtaining the secret of transcendence, he killed 2 great emperors as soon as he came out of seclusion. His rise is unstoppable. That's right. If those ancient great emperors don't take action, I'm afraid no one in the Eldritch continent will dare to challenge him in the future. Ling Xiao is from the human race. I heard that he also has the bloodline of the dragon tribe. He is known as the Lord of Demons. In the future, the human race and the demon race must not provoke him. Tell the disciples not to offend Ling Xiao's friends and family. If they have offended him, they must visit him immediately to apologize. The divine consciousnesses in the surroundings intertwined and discussed fervently. There were even great emperors among them. However, at this moment, no one dared to attack Ling Xiao. 5 supreme experts had besieged Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao had killed 2 great emperors and it had shocked everyone. Even the great emperors were fearful of Ling Xiao. After Ling Xiao roared, they retreated and dispersed their divine consciousnesses. The surroundings were empty and Ling Xiao was the only one left. Ling Xiao took a step forward and stepped into the territory of the chaotic starry sky. The sense of danger in his heart had yet to dissipate completely. Instead, it grew stronger. Is there anyone waiting for me? Ling Xiao's eyes glinted with radiance. Currently, ordinary great emperors were no longer a threat to him. The only ones who could make him feel threatened were the great emperors who had passed the great calamity of the era and were known as the immortal era. Ling Xiao took a step forward. The surroundings were extremely quiet. Unknowingly, darkness had shrouded the surrounding space and it gave off a dark aura. A figure suddenly appeared in the void in front of him. It was an old man in a black robe. His hair and beard were all white and he had the demeanor of a transcendent being. His eyes seemed to contain the vicissitudes and wisdom of seeing through the world. He sat in the void just like that. The space and time around him seemed to have frozen and lost all meaning. However, Ling Xiao felt a monstrous aura from him. It was as if he was an emperor who had walked out from a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. His throne was eternal and immortal. Compared to this old man, the savage beast great emperor and the dead spirit great emperor who had died in Ling Xiao's hands were like two infants who had just learned how to walk. This was an epic great emperor. Ling Xiao's eyes glinted and he asked flatly, "Who are you?" The black-robed old man glanced at Ling Xiao. His expression was extremely calm as he slowly said, "They all call me the Undying Demon Emperor." Ling Xiao, we finally meet. Undying Demon Emperor. Even though Ling Xiao had guessed in his heart, he couldn't help but be shocked at this moment. The Undying Demon Emperor was known as the uncrowned king of the demon world. No one knew how many eras he had lived. Although he had been severely injured by the Heavenly Emperor, there were rumors that he was the mastermind behind the Heavenly Emperor's death. Ling Xiao didn't expect the Undying Demon Emperor to appear. "Are you here for the secret of transcendence?" Ling Xiao asked flatly. "No. I'm here for you." The Undying Demon Emperor shook his head. "For me?" Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. "That's right. I want to kill you, so I'm here." The Undying Demon Emperor said calmly. His voice wasn't loud, but it emitted a chilling aura. He wanted to kill someone, so he came. How domineering and disdainful was this? "Do you think you can kill me?" Ling Xiao wasn't angry and smiled faintly. His conversation with the Undying Demon Emperor was like two old friends. There wasn't the slightest fluctuation in their emotions, but there was a kind of great horror that made people shudder. It was as if they were facing a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. "I don't know, let's try. You've killed two great emperors, so your strength is not bad, but I'm afraid the epic great emperor is not as simple as you think." The Undying Demon Emperor said indifferently. "In that case, why don't you make a move?" Ling Xiao asked curiously. "No hurry. I'm still waiting for someone to appear. Since someone has planned this, how can I not let him get what he wants?" The Undying Demon Emperor said slowly. "Waiting for who?" Ling Xiao asked. "Divine Magus." The Undying Demon Emperor replied, not hiding anything. "Divine Magus? Never heard of it." Ling Xiao shook his head and said. Divine Magus is the descendant of the ancestor of the Wu clan, or the reincarnation of the ancestor. He's not weak, and can be considered the epic great emperor. I once killed his cultivation partner, but he never knew that I was the murderer. Now that he knows, he should come to me for revenge. The Undying Demon Emperor said calmly. "I'm not interested in who the Divine Magus is. But if you don't make a move, then I'm leaving." Ling Xiao said indifferently. "Young man, you're always so impatient." "Fine, I'll deal with him quickly. I'll try to kill him within 3 moves, then I'll kill you. How about that?" The Undying Demon Emperor sighed, as if he was negotiating with Ling Xiao, but the murderous intent in his words made people shudder. "Seems like you're sure to win." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply, and he said indifferently. He already knew from Dark High Sky that Primitive Devil Emperor and Dark High Sky were working together, but he didn't think that Undying Devil Emperor would know about this too. The Undying Demon Emperor said that he would kill the Divine Magus so casually, which made Ling Xiao feel that he was even more unfathomable. "I'm afraid that the plan of the original Demon Emperor and the Dark Clone will fail." Ling Xiao thought to himself. The divine Magus is here. The undying demon emperor smiled indifferently, but he didn't answer Ling Xiao's question directly. Instead, he looked into the distance. Rumble. The heaven and earth trembled, and chaos rose. A huge figure, as tall as a mountain, walked through the void. His blood and chi surged, causing the broken stars around him to explode one after another. It was a 10,000 zhang tall giant. He was wearing animal skins, and his skin was bronze. He emitted a faint chaotic luster, and a kind of immortal fluctuation. His eyes were filled with monstrous murderous intent, as if he was going straight for the undying demon emperor. He stared at the undying demon emperor as soon as he appeared. Undying demon emperor, you deserve to die. His voice was bone-chilling, as if it came from the deepest hell. He was the ruler of the Magus clan, the divine Magus. Chapter 33-26. Original Devil Emperor, I'm afraid divine Magus is no match for immortal Devil Emperor. If he dies in the hands of immortal Devil Emperor, what should we do? In the chaos, Dark Ling Xiao looked at original Devil Emperor and said slowly. They were billions of miles away from immortal Devil Emperor, and by using the mirror image magic, they could already see divine Magus rushing towards immortal Devil Emperor. However, Dark Ling Xiao and Dark Ling Xiao were originally one, so he naturally heard what immortal Devil Emperor said. The arrow is on the bow, it has to be released. If immortal Devil Emperor doesn't die today, he will definitely suspect me, and then it will be my death. Therefore, today, either he dies, or I die. Original Devil Emperor said coldly, with a trace of ruthlessness and determination in his eyes. Although he couldn't hear what immortal Devil Emperor said, he instinctively felt that something was wrong when he saw divine Magus rushing towards immortal Devil Emperor. Let's wait and see. If divine Magus dies in the hands of immortal Devil Emperor, and even Dark Ling Xiao is no match for immortal Devil Emperor, I'm afraid we won't be able to help. Dark Ling Xiao said indifferently. Dark Ling Xiao is the chosen one after all, and now he has the secret of transcendence, and just killed 2 emperors in a row. He should be able to fight immortal Devil Emperor. Original Devil Emperor said uncertainly. Not necessarily. The 2 great emperors that Ling Xiao killed were just ordinary great emperors, but the undying demon emperor is an epic great emperor, and not an ordinary one at that. Dark Ling Xiao smiled faintly, with a flickering sharpness in his eyes. Divine Magus was tens of thousands of meters tall, standing in the vast chaos. His body was strong, filled with explosive power, immortal and mysterious. He stared at immortal Devil Emperor in front of him, his eyes filled with undisguised killing intent. Divine Magus, you shouldn't have come. Immortal Devil Emperor said slowly, his face extremely calm. I'm here to take your life. Divine Magus said coldly. You don't understand what I mean. I mean, you shouldn't have come. But since you're here, leave your life here. Immortal Devil Emperor said blandly. Arrogant, you? Divine Magus laughed in anger. Boom. A blazing light surrounded him as he punched out towards the undying Devil Emperor. His fist imprint seemed capable of destroying everything. Magi were born with strong bodies, and divine Magi were the disciples of the ancestor of the Magus clan. Without a doubt, divine Magi had been cultivating their bodies as well, and had been walking on the path of cultivation. The reason why he was able to prove his Tao and become a martial monarch was because of his powerful flesh, which allowed him to break through the limits and reach the immortal realm. Therefore, divine Magi didn't have any top-grade monarch weapons, because his body was a top-grade monarch weapon. Witchcraft killing fist. Divine Magus gave a thunderous roar. His eyes shone like bolts of lightning, and an incomparable fist intent descended from the sky, enveloping immortal demon emperor. All the chaotic light exploded in an instant. This punch seemed to be able to break the heavens and destroy all things. It contained a terrifying murderous aura. It was as if all living beings would die because of this punch. Even Ling Xiao, who was merely affected by the fist intent, could feel that the vast and unparalleled fist intent contained an immortal spiritual power. What a powerful fist technique! This is a true great emperor. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he praised in his heart. His eyes unconsciously gave birth to a strong desire to fight. Compared to the divine Magus in front of him, the barbaric beast emperor and the dead spirit emperor seemed extremely ordinary. They were like ordinary stars and suns. They couldn't be compared at all. Seeing this punch, Ling Xiao knew that divine Magus was the kind of person who had experienced life and death and had a heart as strong as iron. Such a peerless figure had no weaknesses. Once he wanted to do something, he would definitely fight to the death. Good fist technique. Immortal Demon Emperor also praised softly. He stood under the starry sky with his hands clasped behind his back. He looked like an old man with an immortal aura. The witchcraft-killing fist, which contained the blood and murderous intent of all living beings, arrived in front of Immortal Demon Emperor in an instant. Whoosh! Immortal Demon Emperor smiled faintly and waved his sleeve. Instantly, chaotic light gushed out from his sleeve, as if it contained a mysterious world. It instantly absorbed Divine Magus' punch. Next, he lightly and swiftly threw a palm towards Divine Magus's chest. No power vibration was released from his palm, but it made Divine Magus's eyes instantly turn incomparably serious. His witchcraft-killing fist was dissolved by Immortal Demon Emperor just like that. He didn't seem to be able to resist Immortal Demon Emperor's palm at all. The palm seemed to be quite light, but contained a thunderous power. Within a single moment, the palm landed on the chest of the Divine Magus. Crack! Divine Magus's indestructible body, which was as tough as a top-grade Emperor weapon, actually collapsed instantly. Divine Magus trembled intensely, as if he was struck by hundreds of millions of ancient divine mountains. A thin stream of blood flowed out of his mouth corners, and he was sent flying backward instantly. Kill! Divine Magus's face was still cold, and his killing intent was boiling. It was as if the injuries on his body didn't exist to him at all. His blood and chi were boiling as he sent another punch towards the undying Devil Emperor. The chaotic light in the surroundings was swept away, and the dead stars collapsed one after another, as if they had turned into ashes. They were silently erased. The battle between Immortal Demon Emperor and Martial Emperor didn't seem to be huge, but the fierceness and danger contained in it was many times more intense than the battle between Ling Xiao and the 5 Supreme Masters. According to Dark Ling Xiao, this Divine Magus has 3 eras of cultivation. Then, how many eras of cultivation does Immortal Demon Emperor have? Ling Xiao thought to himself. His eyes were filled with a solemn expression. Immortal Demon Emperor had existed since ancient times. Even original Demon Emperor didn't know how long he had lived. Watching him attack, Ling Xiao was even more shocked. Divine Magus was so powerful, but he was like a child being played by Immortal Demon Emperor. It seemed like he could be killed at any time. The strength of this undying Devil Emperor was so strong that it made people feel terrified. Rumble. Divine Magus's fierce and vast witchcraft-killing fist shattered everything. Dead stars didn't even get hit by the fist light. They were annihilated in an instant with just a slight fluctuation. However, his tyrannical fist light couldn't even touch the corner of Immortal Demon Emperor's clothes. Immortal Demon Emperor waved his sleeve and neutralized the witchcraft-killing fist. He kept sending out palm strikes. The light palm strikes fell on Divine Magus's body, breaking all his bones and making him cough blood. However, these were only minor injuries. Divine Magus was a martial emperor with his physical body. He used strength to prove his Tao. His physical body was tyrannical and contained an extremely strong life force. Within a breath, all his injuries were healed. However, Ling Xiao found that although Divine Magus's injuries were healed in an instant, there was still a trace of blood being drawn by Immortal Demon Emperor. Immortal Demon Emperor locked his fingers together and used Divine Magus's blood as a guide. In an instant, an ancient and mysterious sword light was formed in the void. The sword light looked crystal clear, as if it had materialized. However, it contained a peerless sharpness, which made Divine Magus's expression change. Great witchcraft-killing sword light. Divine Magus's voice became more serious. Yes, it's the great witchcraft-killing sword light. This is the great sorcerer-slaughtering sword light that I created at the end of the era when your sorcerer tribe became the epic master in ancient times. At that time, I slaughtered the last ancestral sorcerer of the sorcerer tribe. If I'm not wrong, that ancestral sorcerer is your master, right? You died a worthy death under the great witchcraft-killing sword light. Immortal Demon Emperor smiled faintly. You created the great witchcraft-killing sword light? My witchcraft clan became the master of the era 36 eras ago. You've lived for 36 eras. My master also died in your hands. Divine Magus's eyes were filled with disbelief. The last ancestor of the witchcraft-killing sword light was indeed killed by a great emperor of the devil clan. Only a remnant of his soul was left. 3 eras ago, he met Divine Magus and passed his inheritance to him. Originally, the witchcraft clan was weak and miserable. 3 eras ago, when Divine Magus attained the Tao, the witchcraft clan finally had the power to protect themselves and began to rise. Divine Magus didn't expect that everything of the witchcraft clan would be destroyed by Immortal Demon Emperor. So, as I said, you really shouldn't have come. Immortal Demon Emperor sighed slightly. He waved his hands slightly. Immediately, the snow-white sword light slashed down towards Divine Magus. Break! Divine Magus's eyes turned cold. He suddenly activated the witchcraft-killing fist and punched out, trying to destroy the sword light. However, the great witchcraft-killing sword light seemed to be hidden in the void. It was shapeless and intangible. Even the witchcraft-killing fist couldn't affect it at all. The great witchcraft-killing sword light emitted a mysterious light, eternal and immortal. It slashed down towards Divine Magus. Divine Magus used a few Emperor magic and forbidden magic in succession. No matter how strong his blood was or how strong his defensive magic was, he couldn't block the great witchcraft-killing sword light. A trace of determination appeared in Divine Magus's eyes. His eyes were blood-red and a terrifying Emperor aura rose from his body. It seemed like he was about to explode. Even if he died, he didn't want to be humiliated by Immortal Demon Emperor. He knew better than anyone how miserable it would be if he was hit by the great witchcraft-killing sword light. Clang! But at this moment, a strange sword light flashed across the sky. It seemed to contain the power of heaven, earth, and human. The 3 types of sword chi merged into one. It was also hidden between reality and illusion. Then, it collided with the great witchcraft-killing sword light. Crack! The great witchcraft-killing sword light trembled violently. In the end, it shattered and exploded into a dazzling rain of light. Forbidden sword. I didn't expect it to fall into your hands. You want to stop me? Immortal Demon Emperor's eyes fell on Ling Xiao and asked indifferently. Your great witchcraft-killing sword light was created based on the forbidden sword, wasn't it? It's indeed amazing. It's admirable. But Divine Magus, I can't die in your hands. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were incomparably calm. He stood in front of Divine Magus and blocked Immortal Demon Emperor's fatal attack. Chapter 33-27. Ling Xiao, do you think you and Divine Magus can defeat me? Undying Demon Emperor asked indifferently. You are very strong, I am not sure. But my intuition tells me that he can't die in your hands. Even if he can't help much, he is more useful alive than dead. Ling Xiao took a deep look at the undying Demon Emperor and smiled. Divine Magus was grateful to Ling Xiao for saving his life, but after hearing Ling Xiao's words, he was a little upset. What did he mean by, maybe can't help much? He was the great emperor of an era, with the cultivation of 3 eras. Now, he was despised by an emperor who hadn't even become a great emperor yet. You are Ling Xiao, the one who obtained the secret of transcendence. Aren't you afraid that I will kill you and take away the secret of transcendence? Divine Magus said coldly. You can't kill me. Do you want to know how to destroy the great witch-slaughtering sword light? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and didn't turn back. However, Ling Xiao's words caused the undying Demon Emperor's pupils to shrink. You know how to destroy the great witch slaughtering sword light? Divine Magus asked in disbelief. The great witch slaughtering sword light was created by Undying Demon Emperor based on the taboo sword and taboo blade. It is hidden between reality and illusion, and can directly destroy your origin and fate. But to condense the great witch slaughtering sword light, you need a strand of your blood essence. You just need to avoid vomiting blood. Am I right, Undying Demon Emperor? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and his eyes fell on Undying Demon Emperor. You obtained the secret of transcendence and cultivated the taboo blade and taboo sword. It's not surprising that you know this. But do you really think I can't kill you without the great witch slaughtering sword light? The smile on Undying Demon Emperor's face disappeared and became indifferent. His eyes flickered with flickering light. Who knows? I have to try. Since Undying Demon Emperor wants to kill me, I can only fight back with all my strength, right? Ling Xiao said with a smile. He had a faint smile on his face, but his eyes were filled with a strong will to fight. The Undying Devil Emperor was the strongest great emperor Ling Xiao had ever seen. Even a divine magus with 3 eras of cultivation was easily defeated by the immortal demon emperor. Ling Xiao guessed that the immortal demon emperor's cultivation should be over 10 eras. When the heavenly emperor was at his peak, he swept across the myriad of worlds, suppressing an entire race by himself. Even the Undying Demon Emperor was defeated by him. At that time, the heavenly emperor should have possessed the cultivation of 30 eras. Therefore, the cultivation of the Undying Demon Emperor should not have exceeded 30 eras. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He could feel a strong threat from the Undying Demon Emperor. Even though he had stepped onto the path of the unification of all Taos and had fused 30% of the origin of the Great Tao, he could still feel the threat. But facing the Undying Devil Emperor, Ling Xiao didn't feel the slightest bit of fear. His battle-intent soared, and he wanted to fight the Undying Devil Emperor. Very good. Since that's the case, I might as well take care of you as well. The Undying Demon Emperor said indifferently. His voice was bland, but it contained a magical sound wave, which was like an invisible blade light that could destroy immortal primordial spirits. That sound wave directly shrouded Ling Xiao and Divine Magus. Kill! Divine Magus's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He took the attack of the sound wave blade light head-on, and the incomparably fierce fist seal once again pressed down on the Undying Demon Emperor. Buzz! The sound wave blade light suddenly exploded when it was a few feet away from Ling Xiao's forehead. Ling Xiao's battle-intent soared, and he also threw a chaotic fist seal at the Undying Demon Emperor. Crack! The chaotic void shook violently. In this chaotic void, there was no concept of time and space. There was only an eternally pervasive chaotic mist, as if it was nurturing living beings, but also as if it was burying everything. But when Ling Xiao and Divine Magus attacked, the chaotic mist in the surroundings was swept away in an instant. 2 powerful fist seals pressed down on the Undying Demon Emperor. Boom! Devil light surged around the Undying Demon Emperor. His original sage-like appearance disappeared, and he seemed to have turned into a peerless demon in an instant. This was his original appearance. After dropping all pretenses, the Undying Demon Emperor seemed to be the emperor of all demons. There seemed to be a mysterious world of demons in his sleeves that swallowed Ling Xiao and Divine Magus. Divine Magus's fist seal was swallowed by the Undying Demon Emperor's sleeve once again. After Ling Xiao's chaotic fist seal entered the sleeve, a vast amount of Tao origin erupted, like a dazzling sun, and suddenly exploded. Rumble! The Undying Demon Emperor's sleeve shook violently, and the space shattered. An incomparably powerful Emperor aura spread out, and the aura was terrifying to the extreme. You're obviously borrowing the power of an Emperor weapon, but you're still playing tricks here. Ling Xiao sneered. His eyes were like iron, and the fist of the epoch burst out, containing an unparalleled divine power that could see through everything. In an instant, it penetrated the Undying Demon Emperor's sleeve and blasted on his body. Boom! The Emperor aura exploded. Although it blocked more than half of Ling Zhao's fist seal, the fierce fist force still forced the undying demon emperor to take a few steps back. Impressive. As expected of someone who walked on the path of combining 10,000 Daos into one. But I'm afraid it won't be that easy for you to completely transcend. And after today, you won't have any more chances. The undying demon emperor smiled faintly. A palm seal pressed down, as if the world was turned upside down. In an instant, it pressed Ling Zhao and divine Magus under the palm, and then swept them away. Strong wind whistled, and the palm seal was vast, as if it was a real world, containing vast and ethereal power of the great Tao. Is this the power of the epic emperor? Powerful indeed. Ling Zhao's eyes surged with sharpness, and his fighting spirit soared. Not only did he not flinch, but he also attacked the undying demon emperor again. Divine Magus also had no intention of leaving. He proved his Tao with strength, and his fist seal was fierce, not weaker than Ling Zhao's. Even the undying demon emperor didn't dare to take his fist seal head-on. The undying demon emperor had quite a few emperor weapons on him, which made him look like a turtle shell. He was obviously very powerful, but he had so many emperor weapons protecting him. For a moment, Ling Zhao and divine Magus couldn't find a place to attack. But a casual attack from the undying demon emperor required Ling Zhao and divine Magus to use all their strength to deal with it. If they weren't careful, they might even be severely injured. Ling Zhao and divine Magus are already at a disadvantage. Dark Ling Zhao said indifferently. I didn't expect that old fox undying demon emperor to be so powerful. It seems that I still underestimated him. But today, he must die. It's time for us to make a move. Original Demon Emperor's eyes were gloomy as he said slowly. What do you want to do? Although the infinite demon armor can restrain the undying demon emperor, I don't think I can sneak attack him. Dark Ling Zhao said indifferently. I know what you're worried about. Don't worry, I'll make the first move. I have a treasure that can trap the undying demon emperor for a moment. That's the chance I'll create for you. And it's only one chance. You must seize it. Original Demon Emperor said coldly. All right. Dark Ling Zhao nodded and said. He didn't tell Original Demon Emperor that he and Ling Zhao were feeling worse and worse. Originally, it was a situation where everyone was trying to kill the undying demon emperor. But ever since the undying demon emperor showed up, waited for Ling Zhao, and predicted the appearance of divine Magus, they already felt that something was wrong. This meant that Original Demon Emperor's every move was under the undying demon emperor's control. Before figuring out the undying demon emperor's plan, Ling Zhao and Dark Ling Zhao both remained calm and vigilant. Swoosh! Chaotic mist surged around Original Demon Emperor, and he disappeared into the void instantly. In the next moment, Original Demon Emperor appeared above the undying demon emperor and pressed his palm down towards the undying demon emperor. Original True Demon Palm. This palm contained the strongest great Tao that the original demon emperor had cultivated. It was the primitive great Tao. It was like a vast and dazzling pillar of light that pierced through the heavens and the earth, pressing down on the undying demon emperor. Original, it's really you. Undying Demon Emperor said indifferently, with a trace of strange light in his eyes. Undying Demon Emperor, you've lived for so long. Today, you can die for real. Original Demon Emperor's eyes were filled with killing intent as he said coldly. In the palm of his hand, a blood-red jade talisman appeared. Then, he slapped it down towards the undying Demon Emperor. Taking out the blood-red jade talisman, primitive Demon Emperor's eyes were filled with pain. The jade talisman shone brightly, and instantly transformed into 10 blood-red light pillars that pierced through the heaven and earth like a prison, trapping the undying Demon Emperor in the center. This is Emperor Sealing Blood Talisman. The undying Demon Emperor's face changed, his eyes filled with incomparable shock. According to legends, the Emperor Sealing Blood Talisman was made by a few great emperors who had the great merit of creating the world. It could seal great emperors, and its power was unparalleled. However, for great emperors like the Undying Demon Emperor, the talisman could only seal them for a short while. However, Undying Demon Emperor knew that original Demon Emperor didn't take out the talisman for nothing. There must be more to it. Rumble. Sure enough, just as the Emperor's sealing blood talisman sealed the Undying Demon Emperor, devil chi filled the sky, and the void trembled. Like the rumbling of thunder, a figure clad in a sinister-looking armor, exuding a terrifying aura, like a peerless demon, appeared. He activated the full power of the infinite demon armor, and it was as if he had become the ruler of billions of lives. A mighty force of destruction and ruins of end burst out. As darkness soaring heaven's fist came crashing down, the vast and mighty power also instantly poured into the Undying Demon Emperor's body. Rumble. Darkness soaring heaven's incomparably ferocious fist print seemed to be unstoppable as it instantly pierced through the Undying Devil Emperor's chest. Blood light filled the air, and the void was dyed red. It also reflected the cold and murderous eyes of the Undying Demon Emperor. The peak.